topics, whether conscious or cosmic. It's never nonsense, mega levels or microscopic. It's a Killah Priest project, AD control the rocket. Before we land the plane, many things we engage and explain. The unexplained, without mask. Welcome to the Killah Priest podcast. Killah Priest podcast.
Nobel and Nobel Prize. So I don't look like an old school rapper. Melly Mel, shout out to Melly Mel and all the great MCs that came before us. You know what I'm saying? We are here now. It seems like I'm talking to myself. If y'all think I am, I am. You know, that's what it looked like. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to talk to yourself to get things together. You know, people be like, when you pass people and they, maybe a homeless guy or somebody that's not in a mental state, they say, yo, man, look at that person talking to themselves. Well, who are you talking to? Aren't you just talking to yourself too? Well, welcome to the Killah Priest Podcraft. This is weird. This came out of nowhere. Well, welcome to the Killah Priest Podcraft. I'm your host, Killah Priest. And today it's retrograde. You know what happens then. Things don't happen right, but then they do happen right. You know what I'm saying? Solar systems and the universe controls somewhat, which we don't see, that which we do. We can't, we can only try our best to correct some of the mistakes that are around, or is the incorrection really the way we supposed to go? You know what I mean? Just to have our minds fix things and change and have us elevate to higher heights by fixing something that's sort of like a mistake. Is that what we, supposed to do, to learn, to have the experience to get past that point, the point of no return? Yeah. I don't know. It's something we're going to think about. What a show we have for y'all today, man. As we sit and we think, I want to say, give a big shout out to the Podcraft, to the Podcrafters. We have the Rocketeers and the Craft Board. The reason why we said Craft Board, because they've been here for a long time. You got men and women. You got gods and goddesses in there. The Rocketeers have been here controlling the engineers. Some of them, well, both of them could be some of the moderators, but it's a great thing. Well, like I said, I'm your host, Killah Priest, and running the Rocket is none other than AD Dizzle.
Yeah, what's good? Welcome back. Let's go.
Man, we got a great show for y'all today. I'm not all the way turned up, but I am feeling good because of the guest that's coming on. Always dropping jewels, and is, esoteric. We get into the esoteric aspects over here, and it's real. Magic is real. I think that things that you don't relish. If you get into certain things, man, it gets deep. It gets deep. But how far the rabbit holes go? Well, we got author Mitch Horowitz coming on. Author, spiritualist, esoteric. And we had a lot, man. We have Jordan Maxwell. We had a lot of people coming on building Santos Bonacci, right, AD?
Yep.
And when we take it to those levels, it just goes, man. We don't try to plan anything. Things just happen. Just like music, just like life, just like everything, Neville, I'm gonna ask him a couple of questions about some of the esoteric brothers and sisters that came before and started dropping some jewels on high science, high knowledge. What was it? What is this all about? It's this quest. It's like a Twilight Zone movie episode. But we all living in the real world. Things happen that we don't control sometimes. I'm going on a diatribe. AD, how's your day, brother?
Dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. Man, how's your day, brother?
Good, man, good. Well, I woke up a little earlier than usual today. Got some things done.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Ready for this weekend.
Yeah, me too. Me too, man.
For me, Sunday is my Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Because I work on Saturdays on projects and stuff. So
yeah,
it's like my day off today.
I'm gonna start doing stuff with my left hand, and I'm right-handed.
Oh, okay.
switch it up a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? Just, switching up. Just thinking about, sometimes you got to change. You got to make that change. You know what I'm saying? You got to just switch things up. Music is going good, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
What else? Shout out to you, Just Jay. I see you in the building. Just taking my time and getting it right, man. I have this book right here. Esoterika. I want to get into that. Formulas Against the False Self. Yo, it gets deep, though. Mitch is a Solid Gold by David Lynch. No doubt. Well, we're going to get all through this, man. It's a lot of stuff, man, to take. What's real? Dignity. What is power? What is yours to give? Be thinking that, man. If you must fight to win. Give us the ability to encourage us. Do you seek the truth or happiness, man? We're going to go through all of that. How y'all feel about that, man? Then you got the ill card right here, done by none other than the great John Newsom. The artwork is dope. Formulas Against the False Self. Every time John Newsom work on something, he sits down with you and he's like has a orientation with you, just to really feel what you about. It's always a good thing, man. Philip B, what's good with you, brother? Respect to you. The great Mahdi. The great Mahdi. You gotta say it like that. Is that because he says that considered ambiguous? No, ambiguosis. What's that word?
Let's see.
Ambidextrous. We write on the Philip.
Oh, ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
Yeah, that means you're able to use your left hand and your right hand.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I'm not using my right and my left brain. Yeah, ambidextrous. Yeah. You see, trying to do things with your left or your right. Yeah, man, switch it up. To get your mind started thinking. On the other side. Peace, brother. The Mati. Yeah, you get like into a routine and then you switch it up a little bit. That's how relationships be working. Sometimes you can't just do the same thing. So if you're having a relationship with yourself, you got to switch it up a little bit. So I'm gonna start grabbing cups with my left hand. When you box, you got to use both hands. One for the jab, one for the hook. Yeah, girl, think about it. Yeah, it's gonna be a good show today. I can tell, man. I can tell by the vibe. Yeah, we're gonna get all into this. So, wish comes true. A couple of wishes I wish come true. Are your dreams coming true? Peace. Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah.
We got Find Truth in the building. Let's see. Very true balance. Yeah. What about balancing what about balancing things you just deal with, AD?
Yeah, balancing is everything I am doing. You know what I mean?
That's the scales, right? The scales.
Yeah, especially with mixing. You know what I mean? When you're mixing audio and stuff like that, and your verse with the beat, it's really just balance. What is too much? And then if you're an engineer, you start to become obsessed with mixing everything. So now, like if I'm in the kitchen, I'm like, does it need more salt? Is it too much salt? Should I add some of this? Should I add some of that?
Right.
So next thing you know, you go from mixing in the studio to mixing in the kitchen.
Right.
So it kind of can create some obsessive behavior.
Yeah, food for thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, food for thought.
So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see. Read some more stuff. AD the keyboard master. That's my fella B. Yeah.
Peace, fella B.
Make sure you hit that like, man, and that subscribe, man. We looking real good in these days. The background is dope. I like that.
Yeah, it should fit the mood of the esoteric type
Yeah,
of
like
discussion.
that.
You got the hieroglyphs in the background.
Yeah. Aren't you amazed at the esoteric vibe? Do you like that type of stuff? Like the esoteric stepping outside the norm?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with that? Some people who's very traditional or ritual, like they say, man, no, things supposed to be like this way, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just finding out about what's hidden, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
hidden, it's not bad either, right?
yeah, especially when you find out what they're hiding for you on purpose, like in general.
Yeah,
You start to become obsessed with like, oh, what else are they hiding? Like, why are they hiding that? Like, why is this a secret? You know, so you want to get to the bottom of things.
yeah.
So that's kind of where I think it would start.
Like a bigger world.
Yeah, or something even like biblical. When you look at the Bible and you see like, oh, okay, this is an allegory.
Right.
Oh, this is a metaphor. Like, what's that really mean?
Yeah,
And that makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. But certain people people don't usually read the Bible no more. You know, the world we live in now is like the obsolete man. If you ever saw that on Twilight Zone, you know we talk about that a lot. So they said the obsolete people don't have time, distractions, a lot of distractions. Plus, some of the stuff is like old. You know, when you're going back 2,000 years and 3,000 years and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of distractions, and plus, people don't have the insight, the in depth to go that deep. You know, they just look at surface level or what someone told them. But then when you look at stuff and you kind of like set back, it's like taking a sip. Taking a sip of juice, it could be anything, wine, it could be tea. You marinate and you take your time with it to get all of the flavor. You know, if you drink too fast, you're not going to be able to taste the flavor of it. Some people, they tell you at wine tasting, and just like tea tasting, smell it, open your palates. And it's funny because palettes have to do something with painting too, right? Don't they call it a palette?
Yep.
Right? And it's different colors and fake. So to be able to look at something, you have to take your time to really get into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, yeah. So we're about to, you ready?
Yep, he's ready.
Okay. All right, so let's get up into it, man. Without further ado, man, we're going to bring on our guest of the hour, Mitch Horowitz. Yo, what's up, my brother? Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yes, how you doing, my bro?
I'm doing good. I am the obsolete man.
Ah, yeah, you saw that? Definitely, yes, you are, man. Thank you, bro. Word. Yes, you are.
That Twilight Zone made a very big impression on me when I was a kid.
Right.
And today, with my books and my esotericism, my history, I think if I'm not obsolete now, I don't know how I ever will be. But here I am.
Man, you brave. Thank you for your bravery, for stepping up and shooting out this esoteric knowledge and wisdom. Some people might call it dark magic, but what do you say?
Oh, they can call it that. You know, I welcome that. I'm tired of this breakdown that people bring to the table between so-called white magic and black magic. I feel like it's all very evasive and it's poorly defined. Like, for example, I could give anybody a dictionary definition of so-called white and black magic, but what does it really matter? How would I be able to determine the line of demarcation where one turns into another? Just like higher and lower, or personality and essence, or attachment and non-attachment, identification versus non-identification. I try to look at the totality of the individual. If a person must evaluate me, I ask to be evaluated by conduct. I measure the impact of magic or wisdom in the experience of the individual and the experience of the seeker. And as far as terms like darkness or light, black magic, white magic. I feel as though everybody who uses those terms intrinsically believes that they're on the good side. And that's the problem, because that's where I want to start digging. Where are we getting these concepts from? What do they mean? And let's throw out the Bartlett's book of divine quotations. Any one of us can define these terms according to consensus reality, but aren't we trying to get away from consensus reality? Aren't we trying to find something?
This is true. Yeah, very true. Very true. I know I do every day, and most of the people on the Podcraft we talk to trying to get away from that. What I see. Yeah. So what gave you that, that power to write this book? To write this book right here. We're gonna get into this Esoterika, man. And I like the way you worded it too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, the hour is late for all of us. I would say everybody I encounter feels, as I do, that we seem to be living a false existence. We don't feel like the world that we're functioning in is reality. We feel blinded to ourselves. We feel blinded to the sources of power in our world. People are unhappy. They're not expressing themselves. We're on social media, and that anxious engagement, everybody's always anxious on social media. It replaces authentic individual expression. And a lot of depression, anxiety, a kind of a low grade sorrow and unhappiness seems to have a lot of people gripped. And if esoteric and occult philosophy really do have something to offer, let it be now. This false self that I referred to in the subtitle, Formulas Against the False Self, seems to me to be internalized peer pressure, where we don't even know what our own wishes are because we hear running through our own heads concepts that really reflect decisions made by somebody else, concepts that aren't really my own, that don't really belong to me. And the first thing I do in the book is I ask people in private, because most of what's in this book is very much private. What is your wish? What is your wish? And be unembarrassed about it, and be deeply, deeply sincere about it within. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to report it to anybody. You don't have to tell your shrink or your boyfriend or girlfriend or what have you. It's yours. And allow yourself the freedom within. Allow yourself the freedom within, just for the time being, not to ask, is this possible? Is this achievable? Those questions have their place, but let's give them a break for a moment. Let's give them a break. Ask, what is it really? What is it really? And don't condition it. Don't start pulling in words from translations of translations of translations of wisdom literature. Don't start pulling in concepts that someone else said or that I heard somewhere. Forget all that. This is just a private exercise. Let's start there. Let's each one of us as individuals start there. What's your wish? That to me is the very first line of opposition to the false self.
Without giving too much away, what are some of the formulas? I have to write it down again so I won't forget. Formulas against the false self.
I would say one of the chief and most powerful formulas, and I mean this, I would stake my life on these words. The individual must be in right relationship, must get away from cruel people. There is nothing more degrading to the creativity, the self-image, the happiness of the individual than remaining cemented in depleting relationships. It robs us of everything. You spend so much time compensating for the disrespect or the depletion that one feels in wrong relationships, that it consumes everything that you might otherwise wish to be doing in the world. I hear from people sometimes who will tell me that a certain family member or a certain in-law, for example, is poison to them, hollows them out inside, reduces them, insults them. And I always suggest complete separation from such a influence in your life. And people very frequently come back to me and say, well, I'd like to, but the consequences are just too great. And my suggestion is, yes, there will be consequences, but they're usually a lot milder than we expect. Anxiety, by definition, is anticipatory. And what we imagine is going to happen and what really happens is usually a lot milder and a lot better news than we expect. And I've asked myself, what is the nature of power in life? Because everybody seems to feel a deficit of power. And I could name things that have to do with power: money, sex, security. I mean, this is a rough world, and those things are part of power, no question. But for those of us, but those things are very uneven. Those things are uneven. They're not available to everybody, or they're not available all the time. Power is relationship. When you are in that right relationship, you will feel powerful. And when you're feeling that crushing absence of power, that deficit, that humiliation, look at that. Look at that, because that's relationship. So I ask people to really spend some time in a very serious, dedicated way thinking about the nature of relationship.
Does it matter who's you're in a relationship with? It could be your significant other, you talk family members, family members. It could be just anybody that you interact with, your cat or your dog.
Anybody.
Wow.
I mean, one of the contentions I make in the book is that we as a human community today in the 21st century have vastly too many relationships. We encounter more people in a single day than our ancient ancestors may have in a lifetime.
Wow.
And some of that is due to the influence of social media, of course. And we are not built for it. We are just not built to have that many human encounters all day, nonstop, unremitting. This is true digitally. This is true personally. I think most of us maintain too many relationships. And I think that's a loss of power to a very great extent. I think we need to take back a lot of what we give away, spill away of our energy in excessive relationships.
I'm just going through some of his very rich in knowledge right there. Metaphysical principles. You said one of your influence was Neil, or was it Neville? Neville.
Oh, Neville Goddard.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man who's on a tattoo right here.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. He, Neville, was a British Barbadian mystic who died in 1972. And Neville's teaching is simply that everything that you, the individual, experience is your own emotionalized thought pushed out into the world. And that anytime scripture, Old Testament, New Testament, makes reference to God, that is a symbolic reference to your own human imagination. And that the entire purpose of Scripture is to provide a symbolic blueprint of man's eventual realization of himself as God the Creator through the agencies of his emotionalized thought and mental pictures. So, for example, Neville would say to whomever is listening tonight, there is no Mitch, there is no Killah Priest. Everything that's being expressed is you. You're just ready to receive this in the form of Mitch, in the form of Killah Priest. We're not here. We are simply figments of your outpictured imagination because, for whatever reason, we just happen to represent the form in which you're available to receive this information right now. That would be Neville's teaching, that every individual is God the Creator as symbolically represented in Scripture, and that everything you experience is your own emotionalized thoughts pushed out into the world. And he could argue for this with such elegance and such beauty. And every lecture he gave and every book he wrote really is that same point over and over again. But every time he stated it and every time he wrote it, it was like hearing it for the first time. I think he was he's been one of the greatest influences in my life. I love him.
Man, you just put me up on him. And as soon as I read that part, I started looking at some of his. I'm definitely have to go through some of his stuff. Stay Unbothered. I like some of the subjects.
Yeah.
Man, that's incredible. What about that has influence? Some influence in the new book.
You know, I wrestle so deeply with Neville because what he says is the most radical contention that can be made about the human situation, that everything the individual experiences is generated from the imagination. Your imagination is God, Neville would say. And if you assume the feeling state of a situation, that situation, that assumption will harden into fact. And Neville used to say, an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. And it puts the individual in front of an awesome possibility and power. The negative, the positive, the in-between. But I wrestle with it greatly because I cannot turn away from suffering in the world either. And I will not allow for suffering of individuals or nations to be attributed to just the handiwork of the individual's psyche, because I do feel that we live under a complexity of laws and forces, of which the law of psyche is one. So in the book, as elsewhere, I really wrestle with Neville's thought because I love him and I believe it's true. But I also believe that a person in the search has to sustain paradox. And when whole populations are suffering, I think there's other planetary influences at work. And I'm trying very hard to marry these things because I believe that there's truth distributed along a very wide spectrum.
And when you said planetary influences, could you explain that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, in some terms, one could describe that as astrological. I take very seriously concepts of Western astrology, which really began millennia ago in ancient Mesopotamia, and there were astrological concepts of which the ancients were deeply aware, even going back, say, to as early as 3000 BC, almost certainly sooner. And then I think there's certain influences that perhaps don't fall under the rubric of traditional astrology, but that do represent, I would say, almost hidden tendrils of connection among
Mm,
different bodies of the cosmos that could result in war, that could result in violence, that could result in natural catastrophe. And sometimes the seeker has a tendency to take credit for things that are just accidental. Like here I am, I'm speaking to you from New York City in Brooklyn. Well, listen, I'm lucky. I turned on the tap earlier and clean water came out
mm,
and my electricity works and I don't have bombs falling on me.
mm,
That's not that's not thanks to anything I've done. That's just an accident. That's just I
mm,
happen to be fortunate that I was born in this time in this place. And I don't dare take credit for that. And I don't dare condemn anybody who doesn't experience that. So there are these different influences that I think those of
mm,
us who are interested in the esoteric and who love Neville, as I do,
mm.
have to also take seriously.
It's heavy. Man, good things always arrive unexpectedly.
Yes. Yes.
Let's talk about
That
that.
is an occult law if ever there was one.
Mm, mm,
um, and that was said by the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Menachem Schneerson, who lived and died not far from where I'm seated right now.
mm,
Looked me in the eye when I was a little child. Never
mm,
forget something like that. Um, when people wish for something, and I take a wish very, very seriously, I begin the book with it. I refer to it throughout the book.
mm,
The arrival will come. The arrival will come.
mm,
But the form that the arrival takes will almost certainly be very unexpected.
mm,
And we throw away, I believe, a lot of miracles in life because they reach us in ways that are radically unfamiliar. When something reaches us, it's very common that it will reach us through familiar channels, channels that have been laid down. Mother Nature works by the most direct means available. And so when a person holds a wish, I say to that person, I say to myself, be ready for that wish to reach you through channels that might be so unexpected, maybe routine, maybe wild and far out, but whatever the case is, the channels are so unexpected that you may be apt to disregard the arrival. And I really believe we do that all the time because the channels may come in some way that I'm not comfortable with. Like, let's say, for example, I don't know, somebody's into mainstream medicine and they abide by mainstream allopathic medicine. Well, the solution might come in some way that's very far outside
mm,
mainstream medicine. And by the same measure, the person who's into natural healing and says, listen, I don't get down with pills or with any of the things that establishment medicine is interested in. Well, once in a while, establishment medicine may have something that's really important, really necessary. And that solution may come in the form of a pill that I don't want to take, but that may be the arrival of my gift. A lot of wisdom literature across all cultures and across all history has parables and stories of deities or spirits or angels or genies visiting the individual disguised as a wandering stranger. You know,
mm,
Zeus used to be called Zeus, god of strangers.
mm.
And solutions very often come disguised as a stranger. So I ask people to really live with that. And I think that we mustn't dismiss strangers too carefully.
Mm. That's heavy. To you, like I'm going through it, man. What's the difference between? Because I know you mentioned truth and happiness.
Yeah.
Um, what's the difference?
I don't know that there necessarily is a difference,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that in order for us to be self-aware, we have to be brutally frank, privately,
Mm.
with what we want. My teacher, who's now dead,
Mm.
used to ask me, used to ask other people, what do you want? What do you really want? Be honest, be serious about it. And of course, Mitch, the good student, he
Mm.
likes his gold star. He wants to get his A plus. So I might say truth, I might say meaning, understanding. And if that's real,
Mm.
then speak it, then live it, then say it. But
Mm.
don't dare speak it and live it and say it if it's not real. Because there may be something else that the person wants. And that something else may also be valid. There might be an individual who, I'm just going to pull it out of the air, wants a lot of money or wants beautiful things or whatever. That
Yeah.
person might have very good reason for wanting those things and for needing those things. And for me to judge that reason in myself or in another might be a very grave mistake. I think first and above all, we must be honest. Back in the day, I was
Mm.
in an esoteric study group with some very beautiful, brilliant people. And I remember a friend of mine in the group said, where does happiness fit in to what we're trying to do here? And I remember I look back and I say this with regret. I say this with regret. I look back and I said, what I call happiness is my resistance to the work. And I got my gold star that day. I got my A plus that day. But I
Mm.
look back and I feel remorse because I think I was wrong. I think I was wrong. And that's partly why I wrote this book. I believe that the mature individual is capable of identifying his or her source of happiness and can defend that. And I think
Mm.
I would say that of a mature 12-year-old. I would say that of a sensitive 12-year-old. We we have to stop taking from people their
Mm.
questions, their wishes, their concepts. I
Mm.
believe these things are valid coming from the searching individual. The need itself makes them valid. And so that's part of why I wrote this book. I'm suspicious of the way that certain concepts and notions run through our spiritual culture without verification. And sometimes that lack of verification winds up taking from someone the happiness that he or she wants. And,
Mm.
they're told, you have to rethink that. Or what part of you is saying that? Is that coming from the ego? Is that coming from one of the many eyes that populate the individual? Go away and rethink that. Well, I think that the wish, if it's sincere, is valid.
Mm. Because love hit me while we in the interview. Pull all of that down. You know? Man, the body. Should we start listening to our body?
I should start listening to my body. Yeah.
Matter of fact, how's your health, man? We'll get
Oh,
back to it, but how's
thank
your health,
you.
man?
I'm doing a lot better.
Yeah,
We had a scare in this house. I was
yeah, man.
I was I was having dinner
Mm-hmm.
with our dear friend John Newsom, who's
Hey,
joining us later. I
yeah.
was having dinner with John and his wife Cassie, with my wife Jacqueline,
Peace to the both of
and
them.
everything was fine. And then the next day, I got up and I was wiped out. I was wiped out. And anyway, long story short, like my hemoglobin levels had dropped. I had lost all this blood and we couldn't figure out why. And I was hospitalized. I'm
Mm.
doing much, much better.
Hey, man, that's
But
good.
I had a heavy moment, in the hospital where, anybody who's hospitalized thinks to himself, is this it? Is this the phone call?
Mm.
Because it's going to come sometime.
Mm.
And so when I was in that hospital, I thought to myself, um, what do I want to represent in life? What do I want to participate in life? And I thought to myself, I only want to participate in communication that helps people think. And it was very clarifying for me because I guess that's listening to my body because my body is telling me the phone call is coming. It may not be right now, but it's going to come.
Right.
And I only want to participate in media, in communication, in exchanges that helps people think. And it has made it easier for me to understand where's the yes and where's the no. And I'm going to really try to hold myself to that because I do a lot of screen things, I do a lot of television things,
Mm.
and some of them are very stressful because that world is a world that is divorced from truth. I don't even think many people participate in that world know the difference between truth and falsehood on a personal level. They're all nice people,
Right.
but save us from the nice people. You know, I can't live happily without truth, and my body goes to a very negative place. So I have to start listening to that. So we'll see. We'll see how well I do. You know?
Man.
Did they say anything as far as like mineral deficiencies? Did it come down to something you ate? It was that minerals.
Yeah,
Huh?
potassium deficiency.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many things like just are so simple with the minerals
Yeah.
that if we don't pay attention to it, like do you use Chronometer at all?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's just an online app, like similar to like MyFitnessPal, where you just track your food,
Oh, I did.
and it'll
Yeah.
tell you what you're low in.
Oh,
Like most people,
no, I should probably use that.
yeah, most people are deficient in B1 because they don't eat pork. You know how we all
Yeah.
say don't eat pork, don't eat pork. Well, that's a huge like source of B1. So
Yeah.
if you're not supplementing B1, then you're low on B1, which can help you like metabolize carbs better. It's crazy. So like, yeah, little
Yeah.
things like that. But like, if we don't pay attention to that, because some people cut out things out of their diet. If you don't supplement that, then you can be off balance, and then something can happen like that. You know what I mean?
I was taking a med that reduced, I learned
Oh.
afterwards, that reduced potassium in the body.
Okay.
So that was part of it. And my
Wow.
doc said, there's not enough oxygen going to your heart. And
Wow.
my heart, thankfully, is in good shape. But so why is there not enough oxygen? And it was apparently due to the potassium deficiency.
So now, are you increasing your bananas and avocados?
I'm eating bananas like fucking Tarzan of the jungle over here. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
And I'm trying to do everything right. I mean, look, the truth is, I'm embarrassed to say this, but we're here to talk truth.
Yeah.
Damn near every night, I was drinking booze and I was smoking weed and hard booze, not little white wine spritzes, but Jack Daniels, on the rocks.
Wow.
And I would knock it back like fucking candy.
Right.
And I told my doc about it and I was very transparent about it. And he was like, oh, your liver's fine and go have a drink and celebrate. But
Wow.
I know that the booze every night and the weed every night, much as I love weed, can't be good, not
What
for me.
strand? Indica?
What's that?
What you had? Indica? Sativa?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
indica.
Mm.
And
Probably some of that,
now I lay off on the smoking,
Right.
and when I take it, I take an edible or a gummy or something. And I think that's okay. And I do have some wine now and then, but as far as this booze every night at home,
Yeah.
that was ridiculous. And that was stress. That was stress talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Man,
So I'm
the body.
doing a lot better, and I'll have wasted the whole experience if I don't learn things from it.
Yeah, that's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. Man, people that fight, man, how do you feel about identification, and people who try to get caught up in the identification? Is that really the message, or?
I go easy on the whole identification, non-identification thing because I think to be alive is to be identified. And I'm not sure I'm not sure there's really a solution to it. And I'm not sure there should be a solution to it. To be identified as that concept is used in the work of G.I. Gurdjieff, the spiritual philosopher, as that concept is used in Buddhism,
Mm,
means that I see the object or I see the effort, the job that I'm trying to do as myself.
mm,
And we're told in some of the traditions, the Vedic traditions, that the self is something other than that. And how can I put this? This is what I write in the book.
mm,
I think for the 21st century seeker, that concept can really tear a person apart. I think too much emphasis has been placed on it
mm,
because, again, where would I draw the line between when it begins and when it ends?
mm,
What might be called identification would be my wish, for example, okay, I'm writing this book, Esoterika. I do everything I can to bring writing to that book that tells the truth, that's blunt, that's clear, that
mm,
gives the individual something positive to do in life,
mm,
that shakes off fears of what people are going to call me or what they're going to say about me
mm,
because I explore a certain idea. Is that identification? I guess in some ways it could be,
mm,
but for me, I believe at this juncture of my search that the point of life for the individual and the best guarantee of happiness for the individual
mm,
is self-expression, broadly defined. And the ancient Hermetic maxim that comes down to us, and I think this has very deep roots in Egyptian antiquity, is as above, so below, the law of correspondences.
mm,
And that, I think, gets echoed in Western scripture as God created man in his own image.
mm,
So if a person takes that seriously, really takes it seriously, it stands to reason that we are here to create. And that can mean all kinds of things to the individual.
mm,
I don't want concepts of attachment or identification to get between the individual and his wish to create. Because I think when that wish is disrupted, that's when addiction takes over,
mm,
depleting behavior takes over. That's when the individual begins to feel, I think, a low level of depression and anxiety is following him through life. And that can be very hard to shake. And there could be a lot of despair in that.
mm,
So I say bravo to everybody who's trying to create, to everybody who's trying to express in whatever form. And that may mean something very different to different people. But
mm,
I don't want to see anything get between the individual and that principle.
mm. But I better get the book, man. It's all in here. It's all in esoteric. I like the way is is that you fancied up the word, or is that the way
Oh, it's
like magic?
spelled with a C. I
Yeah,
spelled it with a K, and I
right.
did it
Oh,
because, in the same way that some people will spell magic with a K to distinguish it from stagecraft,
mm-hmm,
I spell esoterica with a K because the truth is, I am taking, or I'm trying to take, esoteric sources of wisdom,
mm,
Jewish, Christian, Sufi, Egyptian, Persian, Hellenic,
mm,
Confucian, Vedic,
mm,
shamanic. I am trying to take esoteric sources of wisdom that have reached us in just bare fragments and apply them to daily life. And some people will not like what I'm doing in this book. Some people will feel like Mitch is rushing to take these ancient hallowed ideas and make them into this kind of practical, applicable philosophy. And he's maybe violating the spirit of the original. And as a way of acknowledging some of those concerns, I chose to use the K rather than the C, that I'm
dope.
acknowledging, yes, this is
That's dope.
my own effort to harness this. Yeah.
Man, you shouldn't be scared to do it, y'all. I mean, just to add your own thing to it. But it's just the jewels that you are dropping in it is so incredible. That's dope, man. The esoteric.
Was Crowley the one who changed the C to a K?
Yes.
Crowley,
Crowley, he used the early modern English spelling of magic, which was with a K, to distinguish ceremonial magic from stage magic. And so I use the K in Esoterika to distinguish, I suppose you could say, the classical from my modern application.
Right.
Nice.
For those who are getting frightened or scared or what is he dealing with, man, could you explain what is evil?
You know, I dig that question. I dig that question because I think we as a human community, we run away from concepts of evil by making it something out there, something ultimate, something far out. Whereas evil is me not paying a debt, broadly defined. Evil is me not keeping my word. Evil is someone's health insurance company not paying a claim, not honoring coverage that the individual has paid for and is entitled to, and harassing an individual with these arcane coding procedures and appeals processes when they're sick. That's evil. You know, people want to hear that evil is some dude dressed in a black cloak, drinking blood from a skull somewhere. And I'd be a hell of a lot more concerned about evil that's in a gray cubicle somewhere in a call center where a sick person's claim is being denied. I'm a hell of a lot more concerned about evil in the everyday world than I am in some dramatic picture, because most people, most of the time, don't encounter the drama. They don't encounter the drama. You know, somebody the other day was asking me about Epstein. Was Epstein evil? Of course he was evil. But I can tell you, you know, I didn't get any invitations to any of those goddamn Epstein events, and I'm fucking glad I did not. But I'm aware of some people who did.
Yeah.
I'm aware of some people who did.
Yeah.
And, you know, the people who did are usually the ones who are attacking me, saying, you know, ESP research is delusional or something like that. You know, I know a few names with initials after them, you know, over at Harvard who got those invitations. I didn't get them, you know, so, and I'm glad I didn't get them.
Wow.
But when we talk about evil, it's so easy to go to that ultimate place. And that ultimate place may be real, but man, let us deal with the evil that I commit by not seeing another person, by not making another person feel valued. You know, my older son is upstairs. Caleb, the name going back to Arabic and Hebrew
Caleb
means loyalty. You know, he's a loyal person. He's a good person. Am I loyal? Am I doing the right thing? Am I abstaining from gossip? Am I spreading stories? You know, these are the things that I mark off by the hour, by the minute. That's where I find evil, rather than in some ultimate or dramatic source.
That's real. That's real, man.
Shout out to Ceaseless One with the super chat.
Ceaseless, what he said. When Mitch.
He says, when Mitch Horowitz is on the Podcraft, you know you get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Peace, brother.
That's what I'm talking about. So that my man Ceaseless 111, so they know. Okay, all right, yeah, no doubt. Peace. So that my man Ceaseless 111 know we hit the evil part. And all through here is just knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. To you, your best knowledge, and I know we're going through the book, what is power?
That is the question. I had an experience. A lot of listeners may be able to relate to this.
Mm.
A couple of years ago, there's an audiobook publisher that owed me royalties, and they weren't paying. I guess they just didn't feel like it. And you realize, in a situation like that, how powerless you are. I don't have anybody who can make these guys pay. Eventually, they did pay me. Eventually, they did. But I felt so powerless. And I started to ask myself that very question, what is power? And I thought, look, anyone who denies that power in our world is money doesn't know very much about either power or money. But I don't really have that entree to power. And I suppose you could say power is sexuality, of course. Power is security. And these things are conditional. I've seen very tough people, very supposedly powerful people fall to pieces because they don't know how to change a flat tire on a car. And they don't seem very powerful when they're on a lonely road where there's no cell phone service and they got a flat. They're not powerful at all then. And so I was alluding to this earlier. Power is relationship. Power is relationship. And I ask people, and I really mean this, and I ask people to listen to this very, very carefully. Think back to a time in life, could be yesterday, could be 10 years ago, whatever it is, where you felt at ease, you felt relaxed, you felt consciously right and happy, you felt seen. Think about who you were with at that time, because I will guarantee that the experience that you were undergoing, whatever it was and wherever it was, had a relationship component to it. Learn from that. Learn from that.
Mm.
The individual must feel seen, must feel seen. And when you are in a situation where you do not feel seen, you are going to lose all your power, all the power that you wish for. And I define power very simply. It's just the agency to see through one's plans in the world in some reasonable way. That lack of self-agency will appear when the individual is in the wrong relationship. Flee those relationships. Don't confront people. I don't endorse any big drama. Be private about it. Be quiet about it. There's great power in quietness, in privacy. And exit. Don't look back. Power is relationship.
That's dope. That's dope. I always say, man, if you got to bring your stuff out in the street, then it's just crazy,
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
that's a jewel right there. Okay, so we got evil. We have power. And what about dignity? According to the book. Break it down.
Yeah. When people, a lot of people feel they might not admit it to other people, but they might admit it to themselves in private, that they have a poor self-image. They don't feel good about themselves. And sometimes kids will feel, especially this weighs on kids, it seems to me, they feel perhaps like they're not accepted. They're not able to do the things that earn them respect from their peer group. Sometimes that can lead to very destructive behavior. And it can lead to very dangerous behavior. I'm laughing because I have firsthand experience with it. And what the individual is really seeking is dignity, a sense of dignity, feeling at home within one's own skin, feeling the ability to, I'll put it to you this way. Dignity is when a yes means yes and a no means no. And it's clear and the individual is comfortable and he's not calling upon anybody else to prop him up, to support that yes or to support that no. But he knows within himself what's real. And look out, because that can occur. That can occur at strange times in life. A person can experience a very deep shock, for example, when, let's say, a loved one dies, a deeply close family member dies, or, on the other end of the scale, a child is born. And so,
Mm.
on one hand, there might be grief. On another hand, there might be euphoria. But because those incidents are so unusual, they interrupt the ordinary, the conventional personality, the false self, the false self. And at those moments of grief or of euphoria, watch yourself very carefully, because that's when yes means yes and no means no. And the individual experiences a certain realness, a certain dignity. And I believe that's what we're all after in life. We can live with a lot of things. We're going to get hit with tragedy. We're going to get hit with joy. What we can't live without is a lack of dignity. And
Mm.
dignity,
Yeah.
it's there, it exists, but it exists when the false self gets interrupted. And we know it's real. We know it's real because you'll feel it during those periods of shock, grief, joy, anything that kind of pulls us out of the ordinary, pulls us out of the ordinary.
Mm.
That's where dignity lives.
Mm. So such heavy words right there. Dignity is where it live, man. I'm thinking about that. A lot of things you're saying, I'm resonating with it. Just
Appreciate
giving
it.
it some time, man. This esoteric knowledge it's all that. It's all that, man. It's like you're going through all the schools at once in this book, Esoterika. Maybe I got to make sure I get this book. For real, this is mind blowing stuff. If y'all have any questions in the comments too, you could just super chat. We got Mitch Horowitz here, right here, dropping some jewels. I got more questions. You said 11. You asked the question, do we enjoy suffering?
Yeah,
Expound on that, man.
that's the heavy one.
Yeah.
That's the heavy one because we as human beings tend to gravitate towards things that we want. And the emotions run things to a very great extent, which is why it can be very dangerous for the individual not to acknowledge his or her wish, because whatever the mind might say, the emotions and the body tend to, they have their own claim on us, and they will act on that claim. They will act on that claim
Wow.
with real decision. If that
Mhm.
wasn't true, there would be no addictions. There would be no outbursts of rage or unproductive emotions or what have you. The emotions in the body, they have their claim on us.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, people will complain about circumstances in their life, like maybe they keep getting into arguments, or maybe they say, I want a relationship and I can't find anybody. And then you might say, okay, well, let's look at this. You want a relationship. So what are you doing? Well, I'm going out with this bozo. I'm going out with this weirdo and blah, 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 blah. It's like, wait. If you're going out with this bozo and you're going out with this weirdo, do you really want that relationship that you're saying you want? Let's be serious here, because you're taking steps that are getting you the opposite thing. And I used to have a family member, and she would cause wild arguments every family gathering. Even when things were really peaceful and positive and good, she'd find a way to pull that grenade pin. And I would sometimes speak to her about it and say, look, it's kind of predictable. Uh, you light a match, you put the match next to dry wood, we're going to have a fire. So are you sure you want to be doing this? And it took me years and years and years to finally realize that the conflict was a source of entertainment. It was a source of enjoyment to this person. It was very difficult on other people, but for this particular person, that was a source of entertainment. And I have to look at that in myself and ask, am I doing that? Are the things, and I ask people to hear this, are the things that I'm doing that I say are sources of suffering really covert sources of pleasure? Because we as individuals can be pretty selfish and we move towards things that we call frightening or that we call difficult, but that may actually be very exciting, like the thrill people get going on a roller coaster or the thrill people get watching a horror movie. Everybody's screaming, but everybody's there by choice. And maybe it's fun because we know, well, I'm actually really safe. It's not real. And that's true. That's true. But watch carefully for the thrill that comes from that roller coaster or from that horror movie or whatever it may be, because that thrill is what might be considered a kind of false feeling of life. When creativity goes out the door, when self-expression goes out the door, we're still looking for a sense of self and excitement and thrill, and we get it sometimes in very negative ways. So when a person is complaining, when I'm complaining, the very first thing I have to ask myself is, am I enjoying this suffering? Is there something I'm doing that brings this upon me? And I howl and I complain, but I may have taken covert steps, or my body may have taken those steps, or my emotions may have taken those steps. Maybe the intellect needs to be put back in charge. The body has a claim, the emotions have a claim, but the intellect has a claim too. And maybe it's time for the intellect to stand up and say, wait a minute, I don't want the emotions going that way. I don't want the body going that way, because sometimes that suffering is satisfying a wish of some kind that we are not acknowledging to ourselves.
Mm. Dang. Do you think that from your esoteric wisdom, that society or individually, society's like we're declining?
I do. I do. I don't have hope for society or for humanity. I do think we're in a declining octave or a declining current, and that may be inevitable. A teacher of mine used to say, look, the declining octave or the declining current, that's the current of life. We don't have Buddha, but we have Buddhism. We don't have Christ, but we have Christianity. That's just the nature of life. Things reach us in decline. And there is truth to that. That's part of why I spelled Esoterika with a K, because I'm acknowledging the decline in my own work. But humanity as a whole, I have positive feelings towards certain individuals. Humanity as a whole, I think I think we're in a terrible state of decline right now. Some people call it the Kali Yuga. Some people call it de-evolution. Some some people call it sleep. Some people call it automaticity. I think part of the reason why Gnosticism, this ancient spiritual philosophy that said we're living in a false reality, I think part of the reason why Gnosticism has come back into our culture is because we're all feeling in this common way that we're not living in this real state. There's something that's fake, that's ersatz in our reality. And I think the human decline is very real.
The world needs saving, in other words.
Well, the individual does. My hope is that the individual can be touched I just don't know about the world. I don't know about the
Same.
mob. I don't know about humanity. I mean, look, everyone all over the world says, I'm against war. Every culture, every society, every individual says, I'm against war. But we keep having them. We keep having them. And, it's kind of like suffering. Do you enjoy suffering? Well, yeah, as long as it's happening to somebody else, and there's really a problem in this. If humanity could be saved, it seems to me we have the tools to save it. If humanity could be saved, the Beatitudes would be enough. The Tao Te Ching would be enough. Bhagavad Gita would be enough. Hermeticism would be enough.
Damn.
We have it. We have it. And we all say, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But where is the agreement really? Where's the agreement really? We all say, I'm against war. Yep. It's senseless. I agree with that. Well, we don't stop having them, so there's some deep fissure. And I believe in individuals, but not in humanity.
It's probably meant to be that way, though, if you think about it, because in science and esotericism, you see polarity. There's a left shift and a right shift, a blue shift and a red shift. There's an opposition. There's electrons with protons and neutrons. Like, there's a daytime, there's a nighttime. And I remember studying the astrotheology, and they would talk about Adam and Eve. And Eve comes in the evening because she is evening out the day. Do you know what I mean? And that's where some would say that you would say, oh, well, that's where evil comes from, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just evening, because it's evening things out, kind of creating a balance. You can't have a scale without two sides. So with that in mind, it's like it's inevitable to have war.
And then balance with Baal.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it.
No,
I'm
but that's
with you.
Priest is very good with the etymology.
I just think when you
Absolutely. And there's
absolutely
there's absolute correlation with all of that too, which is amazing. But it just kind of shows that even in the science of our microcosm and the macrocosm, if you look at Saturn versus the sun, the two opposing. Some call it the black sun as Saturn, and you already know the correlation of Saturn in culture and Saturn, and the Nike logo is a Saturn swoop. You've got the sickle with the Grim Reaper,
right?
Is supposed to kind of represent kind of the edge of the ring of Saturn,
right?
You get married, you put a ring on your finger, so you already know about the rings of Saturn. You got the Lord of the Rings is Saturn. Saturn is also the timekeeper, Kronos. And, he rules this world because we're ruled by time. You know what I mean? And that almost seems like it's supposed to be there. It's necessary, God or whoever you believe in put it there on purpose. So it's like we have to almost have this way of accepting it, that it's going to be this way, and become masters of ourselves to just know how to surf through life. How's that?
I dig that.
Yeah. Like saying the balance, like you just said, there's no real evil. There's just a balance to it. Like that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like there's negative and positive, but you need that for the TV to come on, like the electricity. I get it.
Yes.
The electrons. Yeah.
It doesn't make it good.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean like we're supposed to accept every bad thing that we see,
right.
But we got to be ready to deal with everything. Just as a superhero looks in the face of danger with stoicism.
Yeah.
We have to almost take this stoic outlook on things, knowing things are going to happen. My dad says life is problem solving. Problem management. So I'm just looking for that next problem to manage.
I think there's great truth to that, and I do think life is reciprocal, even on an individual scale. In Vedic tradition, people speak of karma. And karma is such a vast force. It can be very impersonal and it can be very hard to trace. We in the West like to think of karma as something that is a more immediate cause and effect. And I think that exists too. And this kind of marries to what AD was saying, that life is a pendulum swing. And there's compensation. And I believe there's reciprocity. And I think that those things are detectable in the life of the individual. I don't think that we're just entirely left to our own devices relating to what AD was saying. In science, it might be called entanglement. In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, it's called compensation. Gurdjieff used to say, every stick has two ends, yin yang, as above, so below. Sometimes people ask, what would my life be like if I could go backwards in time and I could reverse something tragic? And my suggestion is we might be doing that all the time. We might actually be doing that all the time. That would be Neville's way of seeing things, that every instant we're recreating our sense of reality, past, present, future. But be careful, because the suffering from the past, which the individual wouldn't necessarily want to relive or go through again, that suffering may very well have created the part of yourself that you're proudest of, that you feel is the most mature, the most resilient, the most refined. So there too, you see what AD is referring to, that reciprocity.
Man, this is crazy. I'm looking, you got Madame Blavatsky.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
I love her.
Yeah.
Russian occultist.
Yeah,
responsible for so much in our world. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people say different things. There's different. A lot of people say that she was racist, stuff like that. Some people say, I don't know if that's a new way of saying it, but some people say that she was there's different ideas on her.
Yeah, I dig. I'm a defender of Madame Blavatsky. I think she was, look, she died in 1891, and some of her values and some of her ideas were depressingly ordinary for the time that she lived in. But there was other things that she did that were just incredible. Gandhi himself stated, and I write about this in my book, Modern Occultism. I write about this in my book, Occult America. In his own words, in his own letters, articles, interviews, he's repeatedly stated that it was Madame Blavatsky who first ignited his philosophy of universal equality, of the equality of all religions, of the equal footing of all individuals, because she endorsed a doctrine of religious and human equality. And that ignited Gandhi when he met her, when he was a young lawyer. He met her in England in 1886, just a few years before her death. And she was living in exile in England at that time. And he said that was the beginning of his own philosophy of universal humanity. But she was also human, and she fell off of her values repeatedly. In her book, The Secret Doctrine, which came out in 1888, she talks about there being these different root races and different epochs of humanity. But in that, she was really talking about spiritual development, and a lot of those ideas that she was working with, different human stages and epochs, were coming from ancient Vedic philosophy. That's the well water that she was drinking from at that time.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Some clarity on it, man. That's crazy. Wow. Man. This is prospective. And I'm thinking there's a lot of good points.
We've got someone named Raymond Pettibon coming out. And let's see.
Yeah, come on in.
We'll bring him on stage here.
Several years.
1 second.
Be and not seen. What's that? What up, my man?
Hey.
Make some noise for the great John Newsom stepping up in the building. Word on the podcast.
Right there. There we go.
Oh,
what's
man.
up, man?
He's got the artwork.
Yeah, man. He got the artwork,
So
right?
beautiful.
There we go. Turn it that way, right?
Dope.
Yeah, there's the artwork.
That's crazy. Yo, what about it influenced you to just go there, John?
Oh, wow. Priest, first of all, thank you for having me. It's great to see you. Thank you, AD.
No
Yeah.
doubt. No doubt, man.
Congratulations, Mitch.
Yeah, congratulations again. Yeah.
It's thanks to you, and one of the honors of my career
Dope.
is that John Newsom created this artwork
Man, this
for the
is
book.
dope.
One of
Thank
the
you.
honors.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that artwork looks like a Killah Priest album.
Hey,
Hey, man, it's the esoteric realm.
That's the,
there we go. Got where is it?
Hey, that
All
is
right.
that is a Killah Priest album right there.
yeah,
This. See?
That's a joint, man.
There we
I
go.
like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, wow, that's dope. That is dope. Yeah. Man, oh man.
That's Fourth to the Happy Ever After and Esoterika. And, work that I do with you, Priest, is ever expanding and influential.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got a
Definitely.
comment. You have a lot of work with owls.
Yeah, it just, it really, actually, that came very naturally in both of the pieces. But with Esoterica, hang on a second, I'm hearing a slight echo. Is that me? Hang on. Let me shut this
Mitch,
off.
do you hear an echo?
Not me.
Okay, just checking.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, now we got it. Okay. Yeah, so with this piece, and when I started with, there we go.
Horizontal might look better on your end
Second
also.
of again? Okay.
Yeah. But then I'll adjust it on my end.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, AD.
Always good to go landscape.
Yes. Was Raymond in the chat?
Yes, Raymond. Let Raymond in.
Yeah, I did. That's so weird. I clicked Raymond and you popped in.
Huh. Interesting.
It has
Might
you-
have been from another podcast that Raymond and I did together, but Mitch knows Raymond as well, so
Okay.
that's nice.
He's
Let what's the name
Sorry,
of
these
I was
floors.
born in Hakim.
Okay.
Then back to.
That's good. Yeah, so this is the original drawing for the cover art of Esoterica. I started by reading the manuscript of Esoterica before it went to print, of course. And early reviews, some say this is Mitch's best work to date. I actually heard that. So
Wow.
I think that this text and this knowledge is incredibly relevant to today's world. And I want to give a shout out to, I know one of our favorite teachers, Jordan Maxwell.
Boom. Well,
yeah.
shout out to the
This is
JM. Yeah.
This is a signed edition. This is signed by Jordan.
Wow.
And it's his original copy of his basic slide presentation. And I want to throw this up because I know a lot of the Podcraft family in the chat room will know this, but he was the master and still is his knowledge of symbolism and how
Yeah.
how really the esoteric reads into our daily lives through the power of symbols going back into the ancient world. And so, Priest, you and I talk about this frequently, and
Like Air One.
yeah, and it's hard to believe that the Podcraft has already been on for 7 years,
Wow.
That's crazy.
but we're in like our 7th year, and
Yeah.
it's during these times on some of the projects we've worked on and others, it's helped develop my investigation into the landscape of the mind of symbolism and how to use the symbols in order to accentuate the iconography, the themes, the motifs, the subject matters of whatever it is I'm dealing with in front of me. And with Mitch, like you, Priest, Mitch, your knowledge is vast. It's something that locates past, present, and future modes of thought. And that's something that I wanted to try to give description to with this work in sense of a trifold metaphor, shall we say. So we begin with this labyrinth, this maze that comes from loosely inspired by Eastern and Celtic traditions of the maze and the origin story of the labyrinth. But this one in particular was of my own creation. And then I buoyed it on the sides by the twin flames, the representation of the twin flames. And it's really cool seeing it on the screen now because we have the twin flames on either side of this image right now.
Cool,
So
right?
it's like double twin flames, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
the formulas against the false self. When we're dealing with the false self, that automatically gives validity to a true self, or the idea of there being a true self if there's a false self. Once again, like AD stated earlier, going back to ideas of polarity. So instead of a singular flame, we have the double flame. And they say also that everybody has their twin flame in life. And when the twin flame meets, it merges into the singular flame. And so that kind of brings us to the image of this human skull, which is the merger of two skulls into one. Priest brought up the fact earlier that when I do work with artists or musicians or writers, I tend to ask them, questions about types of imagery that they're thinking about that they would like me to possibly incorporate. And I asked Mitch that, and the first thing that came to mind was the all-seeing eye. And the all-seeing eye and the eye of providence is an image that Mitch has used in other title page works of his books. And so I wanted to incorporate that in a way that was there but wasn't obvious. So, this is ancient knowledge. This is ancient wisdom. I really looked at this book in terms of something like, say, Carl Jung's Man and His Symbols, and how that's such an iconic cover for that book. And I want this book to really carry weight and resonance throughout the time it has for people to experience. So I wanted to deal with images that were timeless to a degree. So the all-seeing eye represented in the third socket can be looked at as the inner eye, the pineal gland, the eternal opening and singularity. And so although the passages of this life and this moment in this realm has since ceased, it has awoken something. It's woken an inner, the spirit, as they say. And it's something that Tahuti, I've heard talk about many times on the Podcraft, and other people that investigate these types of histories. I do consider this a type of papyrus. This is hand-drawn pencil on paper. It's 100% acid-free cotton. So that lends itself to a certain tradition as well, formally. But in saying that this eye is eternally awake, this we see on the sides of the skulls as the wings sprouting up. These wings are kind of reinforcing the idea of an awakened state, like an eternal state beyond the bardo, something that is peeling away and burning and purifying the self. And so these are some of the ideas that I was trying to articulate in reference to Mitch's query into the ideas of the false self, because ultimately it's about coming to wisdom. And Priest, there we go with the owl. So the owl is at the top. We've arrived from the labyrinth of the world to the peak of wisdom above the worldly state. And we, of course, know that the owl is representative of one who is able to see in the dark. That is kind of knowledge beyond understanding. And so if you take a point of reference from the top of the composition of the owl's head down to the twin flames and across, you'll see that a triangle form is created, all right, in the composition. And those are invisible lines that are actually there within the composition, then just not drawn in. They're in your subconscious. So you're going to read it as such, and the eye is located in the center of that triad. Now, if you flip it, you're going to get the same reading from the top of the wings to the bottom of the maze. So it's an inverted triangle. So you're going to find that the eye is actually located in the center of that type of composition. And the graphics department did a great job with the layout, and I was thrilled with it. I can, when I'm watching Mitch on podcasts discuss the book, I can enjoy it calmly because I feel that the cover was done to the 100th degree, and I just hope you all enjoy it. It's a real pleasure to be able to share it with you.
Thank you, man. Man, thank you so much for that, man. Mitch is doing an incredible job breaking down this book and all the wisdom that's in it, man. And you right, man. We always talk about Jordan, Jordan Maxwell, me and John Newsom. And this is just an awesome book, man. Awesome book. Anything you want to add on? The body has to see.
It was, what John was explaining about the hidden lines of the pyramid and the centrality of the eye. It's so interesting because the image itself has such beautiful symmetry. It's something that strikes you as, it's like it's always been there. It's like it's emerging from the natural world. And that's part of John's genius. Yeah. He's such a student of symbol and of nature and of esotericism that he can, within an image like this, incorporate so many elements that you see, but as he was explaining, so many elements that you don't see, and yet you do see them at the same time because they bring symmetry to the image and they bring meaning that we read in a different way. We read it with that all-seeing eye. Maybe my ordinary intellect doesn't see everything that's going on at first, but something does see it. Something does see it. And that's John's genius that he brings to the symbolic organization of an image like that. And when I brought it to the publisher, shout out to the cover designer, Tom McKevney, who framed the image, I said to them, you're not to add any color to this. You're not to run any type over this work of art. You're not to harvest elements of it. Yeah. It remains as a beautiful object of creation and expression on its own. The only thing I did was I suggested this typeface, which I had remembered from many years ago. Oh, and I'm going to grab something. Hang on. Where is it? Where is it?
Does it come back? Can we let Osborne in a minute?
They in.
Oh, they are. Oh, yeah. I see him over there. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to love these paperbacks on the work of Edgar Casey. You see that typeface?
Yeah.
That Art Nouveau typeface. I brought that to Tom, and I said, I believe this typeface is going to complement John Newsom's work. And so let's try to use this typeface. Not so easy to find. And so you'll see, you hold that up next to Esoterika, and you see that was the gestation of the typeface.
Man.
Wow, that looks great.
From top to bottom.
Yeah.
So above, so below. The book is filled up, man. All right, you already know when these two brothers come in, we have a dope conversation. Who's occultism, wisdom, the God Hakim, and none other than Knowledge Born. Peace.
Peace, gentlemen. Peace, gentlemen.
All right.
How's everybody doing?
Yep,
Better
y'all
now.
called for the twin flames and we showed up.
Gemini's, right?
Gemini.
Two halves of the same skull.
Mm.
And
Yes,
bone.
sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, I don't know where to start. I haven't had a chance to get through. FedEx made my copy of Esoterika late, so I just had to look up as much as I could on it. But um, congratulations, Mitch. I'm sure from what I'm hearing about it, they're saying it's some of your best work. I looked online at a few things, and
Wow.
you know,
Magnum opus.
magnum opus, yeah. And John's the symbolism is, I told him last week. I was like, I hope I get to ask you some questions about that, and I'm waiting to get on. I don't know if he start with John if he covered it. The labyrinth below the skulls. What is that? Why is that in correlation to the book?
Yes. Well, it's great to hear from you, Hakim. Thank you
Yes.
for the question. And I was saying a little bit earlier that for me, when I was thinking originally of the idea of the false self,
Mm.
I wanted to begin building up this image with the kind of the amalgamation of the false self in the labyrinth of the world. So I went to Eastern Oracle labyrinths and Celtic labyrinths, and then took those ideas as a springboard to create my own labyrinth here with the twin flames and the skulls. And again, it's pencil on paper. So I did a light sketch and then just went in with a more physical rendering to follow, if that helps.
Yeah, it does. I thought that was pretty interesting because I'm a big fan of Christian Nolan, and his logo for his production company, which is called Syncope. Syncopation is like, so it's like unconsciousness, right?
Right?
And he uses a labyrinth as the symbol. So
Yes.
in the movie Inception, you'll see it represented like drawing like a three-dimensional maze, right?
Yes.
And I believe it was the Gnostics that believed that the physical world was sort of like a maze, like a prison house, right? And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And
You're
so
right
I
on
heard a
it.
little bit what Mitch was speaking on. So because I don't have the book right now, I can't really get too in depth. But I was like, in the false self, when I hear terms like that, that really makes me go, oh, so we're really dealing with it, because the false self is something that I think that is dealt with indirectly in the world, but they never really touch it. And then looking at, I wanted to know about the skulls. I think you explained it though. It was interesting that you have two skulls, like duality, but in the middle of those skulls is the third eye, which is, that's
Yes.
harmony, that's understanding, that's oneness. You
Yes.
know, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
First of all, his book was supposed to arrive to him on Friday, but FedEx was late. So that's on FedEx. But everybody
yeah,
else should have received their copies.
yeah,
And it's on its way, Hakim. I
yeah. I
can't
know,
wait for you to read the
indeed,
book.
indeed.
But just, I went over the symbology a little bit earlier, but to kind of review again, because you did pick up on it completely. And I like actually the reference to Inception, because with Inception, we're dealing with kind of the overlapping of reality and the dream state, the idea
Right.
of physicality and the false self.
Yes.
So with the skulls, it's almost sitting on top of the tabletop of the labyrinth of life, along with the
Mm.
twin flames. But there's a merger that we see here, just like you articulated. The two become one, but the singularity becomes everlasting. And that is the representation of the I in the center.
Mm.
And, I was I was very interested in bridging the gap between the open wings from the mind, the dome of the skulls, to also incorporate the owl sitting. I needed to treat those wings differently in how they were drawn, so it wouldn't be too much on the top of the skull. Because for me, it's visually weighted. It's balanced, as we were talking
Right.
about balance earlier. If I had gone in and rendered these wings similar to the owls, it would have been too top heavy, and vice versa, it would have been too light. So that was something that I really took into account, like when I was working on the how of I was going to deal with this image. And so I feel like the balance between the labyrinth of the false self to the inclusion of something more real, the realism of a skull. I mean, how more real can you get than a skull? That's
Right.
like that's that. And then we end in the realm of the mind, of the spirit.
Yeah.
And
Always does. Yes.
to me, that's esoterica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mitch, how would you? Well, let me ask you this, John. Did you read Esoterica first and then create the symbolism?
Yes, Mitch gave me a
Yeah.
draft of the book. That was
Mm.
very important to me to read. I read it with a highlighter, and then I reread it with a red pen on the highlights. So
Mm.
I I really got to know the text, and coming off of Practical Magic, which was
Yeah.
the book that preceded it, this was just an accentuation of it to a degree, but the urgency, there was a sense of urgency and sharpness in this text and in the method that he used to, write with that. It was just electric. I wanted something, I needed an image that was as kind of immediate and yet vast, that could be, say, instantly recognizable from a tabletop across the library room or something, but
Hmm.
that you could spend your time looking at it and contemplating it. So
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
that
dope.
became important. So
Wow, that's dope. Um, Mr. Horowitz, yes, you answered that great, John. Did you have to, was there any drafts of that? Did Mitch go like, okay, change this or that, or were you just free to do as you saw or you interpreted it?
I was free to do as I saw and interpreted, similar to how I work with Priest. And that's what makes it such a pleasure to work with both of these amazing, masterful artists of their craft, because they allow me the freedom to roam and use my imagination to full
Yeah.
tilt. And the first time Mitch saw this finished piece was at my studio when he came in to see it. And that was it. So,
Wow. Wow. That's dope.
yeah.
So, Mitch, uh, I heard you, when we started, I heard a little bit about Blavatsky and Gandhi and a little bit about, I think y'all dealt with a little. I'll ask you this. It's always keen to go here. Where in the book do you address with the false self? I would consider that to be in alignment with black magic.
Uh,
Yeah,
you
because
know,
you seem to be breaking the rules. You seem to like take you have a great understanding and interpretation of that which was, but you seem to bring it into modern day and say, okay, what is this now? And do we even need this in this form? That's what I
yeah,
get from you all the time.
yeah. Um, Thank you for that.
Mhm.
I do try to break the rules. I try to get away from the split that people imply between white and black magic.
Yeah.
And I listen, I really feel that life is debt. There's debt in life. I owe a debt to people who suffered so that I could be sitting in safety, let's say, at this particular time and place. And if I fail to pay that debt, I believe that life will take it one way or another out of my skin. So there's no taking that I can do that I don't have to pay for in terms of reciprocity, in terms of a pendulum swing. I can't speak to anyone else's life. We may be able to identify people, some private, some public, who violate the very thing I just described. And one may say, well, where's this reciprocity for that person? And I can't fully speak to that because there are people who employ force in this world, and
Mm,
I distinguish force from power. I'm interested in power, not force. I don't wish to tell anybody what to do. I don't wish to take anything that I'm unwilling to pay for.
mm,
I wish to pay to the degree I'm capable of my debts in life. And beyond that, I really feel honoring of the individual's needs. And
mm,
I try to get away from the whole white magic, black magic
mhm.
framing for that reason. And of course, white and black magic is a tricky term because whenever
Right.
somebody employs it, they're always certain that they're on the side of white magic. Somehow it's always remarkable. White magic has 1,000 parents, and black magic is always an orphan. Well,
Mm.
it says something about the people who are most attached to that term. So I try to bust
Yeah.
that up. It's just not my way of thinking.
Yeah. And do you feel in this magnum opus of yours that you address this? I think I get that from you.
Mm,
Those are terms like left and right,
mm,
Republican, Democrat. However, it's two, they call that the right and left hand of God, still attached to the same
mhm,
thing,
mhm,
and those things being intention. I um I think I read something on IG. You had just a little blurb of something. You were talking about getting away from cruel people.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, so even in correlating that, like what I might consider cruel and someone else would consider cruel would it still be in the lines with what we would call, black magic, white magic? Who's to say, what's cruel, or is that based or determined by the individual?
I would say it's determined by the individual. I would
Mm,
say when the individual feels that he or she is disrespected, run down, insulted,
mm,
especially, and I really ask people to hear this, especially in subtle ways.
mhm,
Some of the wounding that we inflict upon people and that we
mhm.
suffer unnecessarily, there is suffering that I think is necessary that pays a debt, for example.
Yeah.
But there's a kind of waste suffering, the suffering that's experienced when we're just in proximity to people by whom we are unseen. And it's not
Yeah.
uncommon that that will emanate from friends, family, coworkers, even
Mhm.
even spouses or boyfriends and girlfriends or what have
All
you.
right.
And it comes in the form of subtle diminishments. And the instant you raise a question about it, it's always the same litany of answers. You're too sensitive. You need a thicker
Yeah.
skin. I was only joking. You're not being
Yeah.
logical. That's why I ask people to make these judgments and decisions in private, to act on them, but to act on them without drama. Don't make
Hmm.
yourself a victim one more time by inviting drama. We've got enough drama in life.
Right.
And I feel that the sensitive individual, can and must make those decisions alone. And I think those decisions are real. And I think that it's so often that people suffer and it just goes on and on and on. This is true of kids as well. And they're given different strategies, different therapeutic ideas,
Mhm.
maybe certain religious ideas,
Mhm.
and yet the last item on the list of potential solutions is you just got to get away. You're misplaced. You're egregiously misplaced. You've got to move and be in a different be in a different setting. Um,
Mhm.
Look, people who move away from cruelty, they'll rediscover themselves. They'll just rediscover themselves. They'll find that they're people who are approachable, that have good humor, that that feel a sense of relaxation, that feel a sense of self that was absent before. There are situations, of course, where people cannot get away from cruelty, maybe for reasons of economics, maybe for reasons of livelihood, maybe for reasons of geography. And I try to talk to that person too, because those problems are very real. And I say, look, again, privately, vow to yourself. I see what's going on here. I understand the cruelty and the futility of this situation. And at the first possible instant, I will physically get away from it. And with that acknowledgement, that instant will often arrive quicker than the individual might expect.
Wow. Yeah, I understand. Wow. That's revolutionary, especially in the world of social media. People, what I've seen, tend to get away, but only to evade. Right? Like they take, the poison that they're attempting to speak to, they're putting on the full armor of God, but the devil is under that armor. So wherever you go, it goes,
Yeah.
if it's truly like that, right? Happy, we should keep happiness in our own name also, but of course for operating purposes, right? Like to get away, maybe some quietude to be able to sort through what it may be, accountability on the individual, and what may be what I would like to call the world, right? You know what I mean? So in also based around intent, but to reconcile opposites also, right? Like just like the symbolism. In the military, I was in the military, and we would run long miles, right? And they would sing a cadence that would be like, they would say, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And, like basically what you focus on, if you're focusing on how tired you are, it's definitely going to bring you down further. But if you can keep a perspective of, like this is helping me or whatever, that would be, you will find that what considers to be exhaustion goes away. The mind focused on this thing keeps you there. So kind of seems like what I'm getting. I can't wait to read the book. I'm looking forward to that, Mitch.
I thank you for it, and we'll come back on, John and I, and we'll talk.
I love
after
that.
it's reached you. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, acknowledge Bourne. You got it, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Peace, knowledge.
Peace,
Salute.
Architect D, the great Mitch Horowitz, and the Hermes, John Newsom.
That's
Putting
right,
our
modern
heads
Hermes.
together and doing something great.
Salute knowledge.
John, we got
Yes,
this strange relationship with this owl together, right?
Yes.
We got some owlgarchy going on here.
Yes. Got the oligarchy here.
Yes.
We got the oligarchy here.
And the algorithm.
And the algorithm.
The
okay?
algorithm
Yes.
knowledge. That's it.
So you have the triangle that's going up and down, right?
Yes.
So you have an envelope
Yes.
and an apron, Masonically speaking. Did you ever see the movie Pan's Labyrinth?
I did. Isn't it the anniversary of that film? Right now, I think the 20th or 30th anniversary, 20th anniversary.
Yeah, it would be the 20th.
It's coming up on the 30th anniversary. Yeah.
Sure?
Already.
It could be the 20th, I thought.
I think it might be the 20th.
Oh
but
yeah, the
yes.
20th. My fault.
Yeah.
2006. Let me
Yes,
get it
Pan's
together.
Labyrinth.
Get
Wow.
get the math correct, because this is a journey that you take us on artistically.
Yes.
So I use the envelope reference when the envelope is open. It's facing up, meaning that it's prepared to receive. So the initiate is coming, bearing themselves in a way that's open. So they come after they receive their apron and their working tools, they have the bib of their apron pointing up. So as above, because when they're going through their circumambulation, right, the right of destitution means that they find themselves in a space where nothing on the outside world other than a tongue of good report can help them on the inside on this journey. Had they received a tongue of bad report, they would not have the benefit of seeing what's happening on the inside. I'm dealing with the title, Esoterika, and the path of the initiate from a topical perspective. So I'm dealing with the exoteric path of the esoteric journey of the initiate. So the triangle that's pointing up in this initiatory,
Hold on, give me 1 second.
they are learning how to receive, because they had to do good work in order to get a tongue of good report. So they're not
All right,
without, but they are being welcomed into this society based off of that tongue of good report. So that means somebody had to observe them and then also find them worthy before they even come in. So there's a process that goes beyond the span of your control. Because Mitch is talking about the formula against the false self. The false self, you think that you, like your good works or what you do alone is enough, and it's not. That's the false self, because you don't know you yet. So in the Matrix, in part 2, when Neo went to go see the Oracle for the second time, he met somebody else named Sarah. He's like, you seek the Oracle, I can take you to her. But first, excuse me. He said, for what? For this. And they start fighting. So how did he become the one? He fought Agent Smith, right? So why would he think on this level, this being that he's seeing glowing with light would allow him entry without any testing? So he goes through this process of fighting, dying, and being reborn. Fighting, dying, and being reborn, and then going to the seraphim and fighting in order to gain access to the inner sanctum where he was looking for the answers. He was the one, but he was the one with no answers. So again, the initiate going through this process is a one that is chosen, but they're a candidate through this process. So you walk us through this process that speaks to the labyrinth below.
Yes.
So for the young woman and the young man, the rites of passage, they go through trial and tribulation to discover parts of themselves that lie dormant from within them. So the false self gets them there, but the actual self gets them through. So they learn that on that process, right? So
that's the merger.
Yes, there we go. I'm walking right with you in this design in my mind, right? So there's a process by which they arrive, and the false self and the real self come together. And like the blood and the plasma, they coagulate, right?
Mm-hmm.
and they come together. So at this point in this juncture, it goes from the non-initiated. The guy was just talking about Christopher Nolan in Dark Knight Rises. Bane and the Dark Knight come together. He said, that's for the uninitiated. But we're not the uninitiated, are we, Bruce? He didn't call him Batman. They called him by his name. he thought he was running around anonymous because he had some pantyhose on and a mask over his face. Nobody knew who he was. But it took one to know one. No one cared who he was until he put on the mask, right? So when he called him by his name, he had no other recourse. So in the Pan's Labyrinth film, the mystical
David
fawn
Bowie
is sent to
That's right.
Ophelia, and Ophelia was the helper. I mean, her name means helper. So she's helping the fawn make sure that his mission was not in vain. But her mother was pregnant with a child, and they were under care of a wicked stepfather. How about that? Versus the wicked stepmother. But she still has a Cinderella tale in regards to her fascination with the realm of imagination, right? So the things that we think we want versus the things that are best for us. Mitch was talking about that earlier in regards to being married from one extreme or the other. So you might think, okay, I don't need these pills, or I don't need these herbs. And then the situation that you need the most comes in a way that's not most readily available to you, right? So there was a point where in the Matrix that Neo had to accept his fate, that he could fight no more. He had to surrender, and he had to be taken. And the program had to be written over the program in order for those things to actually cancel themselves out. So in this labyrinth, if you don't know where to enter or where to exit, you're just stuck.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So that space where, they're talking about in Pan's Labyrinth, he knew exactly who Ophelia was, but Ophelia had no idea who she was in actuality based off of her current circumstance. Her current circumstance showed her in a space entirely destitute, back to that initiate going through this circumambulation process.
Mhm.
All the initiative has in this place is their faith in God.
Mhm.
There's a question that asked in candidate, in whom do you put your trust? And the answer is in God.
Tupac. Oh, sorry.
Right. One and the same. Hail Mary, come with me. So the conductor says, arise, follow your guide, and fear no danger. So that labyrinth, you don't know where you're going, right? That's a tumultuous sort of situation for your mind, because initiation is 90% mental, 10% physical.
Yes.
So you're going through this labyrinth and you're racing to get out. Like if you ever seen somebody in an escape room, all of that logic goes away after a while. They think that they're in this place and they're trapped and they can't get out. So they start doing all the primitive things. They might start trying to break the walls and all kinds of stuff. It's a game that you signed up for, that you paid money to go into. And you walk into the situation as if, okay, it can't be that, difficult. Somebody else did it before me. So now it's you battling your false self through that process. And if you go with other people, you get to see who's amongst you in that space as well. People get to fighting, arguing, cussing at each other. They're doing everything except trying to figure out how to get out of this room.
Yes.
You understand? So again, this labyrinth of your mind has you in this space. And what the women go through, they go through every single pathway that they're going to navigate in life. They go from a daughter, a sister, a wife, a widow, to a liberator, so to speak. And
Yeah, God.
in that liberation space, they become a heroine or a martyr. So that means they go from a physical person to an idea, right? They become immortal in that place. They go from mortal to immortality. So with the skulls and the bones, this is all that remains as proof that you existed in the physical world if you didn't leave any ideas
Yes.
that will be
Exactly.
here after you were gone. So the ideas come in the form of this owl, right? Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3.
7
Those
times.
are
6, 7.
those 3 degrees,
Yes. The
right? So
triad.
yes. So dealing with that from that perspective is my deduction of the symbol literacy that you
Yes.
gave in regards to this, right? Because
Yes.
the sigil markings is what we actually see, and then that eye that you said in the middle
Yes.
becomes the thing that allows these sigil markings to have meaning.
Yes.
And one of the functional definitions for symbols are sensible images that are used to express a hidden meaning. So eso in the terra, earth, ka, spirit,
Mm.
esoterica, like the ka, the spirit, right? Like the qa. If you looked at the word kabbalistic, they would say that the qa
Going in.
represents the Christian perspective. The CA would represent the Islamic perspective, and pardon me, I think the QA was the Jewish. The KA would have that esoteric Christian. So esoteric
Let me
Christian,
call up Sue.
Muslim, and
Don't do that.
call of Sue, and the Jewish realm of occult in regards to the SO meaning of
Yeah.
the CAKA
Yeah.
sort of perspective.
Mike,
Mitch, I just want to ask you one more question,
Mic drop.
one question real quick before I give it back to Hakim. In chapter 9, you talk about the question, do you enjoy suffering? So one of the things that they spoke about in the Matrix, the architect was talking about how long the program was when everybody got what it wanted. Said it was destroyed in an hour, right? So there's a part where the agent had multiplied himself after the Oracle left, and he was talking about purpose. So when you did your research in regards to alluding to the question, do you enjoy suffering? Do you find that the people or the human condition is predicated on suffering, or is it in the realm of the human existence where they speak about suffering and they justify suffering in regards to calling it purpose or destiny on the planet?
Question.
Yeah. It seems to me that without friction or suffering, we wouldn't be human. We would not recognize ourselves. And here in the West, our creation story of Adam and Eve being forced from paradise is really the birth of creativity. The woman Eve had to experience pain in childbirth. The man Adam had to experience sweat and fatigue and suffering to gather food from the ground. And of course, their children are involved in an act of fratricide. Cain slays Abel, and yet Cain is also said to be the ancestor who gave humanity stoneworking and metallurgy and the forging of tools. And Cain is told that you are going to be a nomad and a wanderer across the earth, which in deep antiquity was essentially a death sentence. The vagabond or the stranger was in grave danger. And Cain argues back with Yahweh and says, this is too great a suffering. This is too great a punishment. And Yahweh actually revises it and says, all right, I'm going to place what is called the mark of Cain on you, and anybody who causes harm to you will suffer that harm sevenfold times over. It's an interesting act of clemency for somebody who slayed his own brother. And seen from a certain perspective, we have to acknowledge that if we look at the Western creation story, we are all descendants of Cain. We had to have emerged from that lineage. And it seems to me that suffering, friction, are the cost of creativity and self-expression. Prometheus in Hellenic tradition is said to have stolen fire from the gods and enlightened humanity. Prometheus, in some tellings, also suffers horribly a punishment from Zeus for that theft. And yet the stealing of that fire, whether one looks at it as a physical fact or whether one looks at it as a psychical fact, is what made us ourselves. So an absence of friction seems to me to be an absence of creativity. We couldn't exist without it. And so, as you were referencing in the Matrix, when they created a program where there was no suffering and there was no friction, the individual couldn't believe it. It was so alien to his or her nature that he woke up. And nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to relive sorrow in life. And yet, if we were to remove those things, we would remove the very traits that refined us and that made us capable. It's not infrequent that it is within sorrow that we express. There's an intimate relationship between pain and excellence, between that feeling of not being seen and the wish to be seen. I'm speaking, of course, on the intimate human level, but without friction and without suffering, what cause would there be for creation? We would be stagnant. We really wouldn't be human.
I love that.
Powerful.
Wow.
Good.
Those are
Real quick,
those. Go ahead.
I just want to get my owls off because y'all jumped. Y'all, I saw y'all heard y'all dropping the owls. So I got the owls at hand. I also got the alchemist and outfits.
Wow.
Alchemist, the alchemist, and outfits. Just to add on to y'all.
Now what Mitch has said is deep. Mitch is reinstating some occult axioms, right? In this world, as long as you have duality, you will have suffering. You know, the creation story in the Bible and Adam and Eve eating the proverbial apple or whatever, their eyes opened. And by those eyes opening, they began to able to compare. So this is the one, at some point, the two, right? But they were not aware of the two. That's the world of duality, the comparison to everything. This is bigger than this is smaller. And this leads to the delusion, even the Cain and Abel, right? All of these duality is ultimately to come back to the realm of one, right? Um, Suffering appears to be in the physical plane, ordained, like it's just a part of it, what we call suffering. I hate to, I always going to bring up the great Manly P. Hall. He spoke in the Trustees on Magic about Saturn and Lucifer, how the planet Saturn represents cold, restrictive, and Lucifer represents the burning progression. So when Mitch speaks about, not having that force that goes against, right? Like a motor, anything that moves has to have something that moves against it in order for it, like like a chain on a bike in this world, what keeps it going. So you have to have these things that are somewhat diametrically opposed to each other in order to reconcile them, to reconcile opposites. Manley said that the man that can reconcile opposites is the master. So things that appear to be opposite in nature or in appearance, in nature they are one. But that is the journey of getting back to that. I think that is one of the greatest things. When we look at Neo, y'all use the Matrix. The woman in the red dress is no differently than Trinity. Okay? The woman in the red dress implies she is a distraction. Trinity was too. But she was a necessary evil. I noticed Knowledge Born talked about Pan's Labyrinth and the woman and the different, really the feminine energy going from daughter to woman to wife. Well, that labyrinth on the cover represents woman. The feminine in occultism is the negative, not negative in what we call negative, but there's the male is the positive and the feminine is the negative. They said Solomon had 400 concubines. No, priest, not your son, but the biblical truth, right? And some say that the Solomon that is talked about is not the one in the Bible, but Solomon, the son, right? Having 400 orbs or concubines, right? We heard circumambulation. So the feminine aspect is the physical world. Those skulls, the death, the crucifixion, fire, air, water, and earth, that the soul is crucified on, right? And through the crucifixion through death comes life. So, or the prodigal son leaving the one or the father descending into a strange land, taking on strange coat, and he has a time, suffers. And through time, he also has amnesia. He forgets. This is what that false self is too. There's a form of being here that we have forgotten. The archons or the wickedly wise keep you distracted just enough to where you don't remember. They can't totally just erase everything. A real criminal would just be like, hey, I don't want to leave any evidence. But the rule is they must leave something. They must leave these breadcrumbs, Hansel and Gretel, if you will. You know what I mean? These breadcrumbs that allows to make it a fair fight. And you're allowed to attempt to make it back to the one. This is the game. This is the maze. This is the rat race, right? But it's hard because the physical world is seductive, right? The Manley said that matter is stupefying on the mind. It's like scuba gear. Coming into this world is like scuba gear, and it's kind of clunky, and you kind of sense the immortality of yourself. But the physical world makes it seem like, there's a birth record to it. So you don't really feel it. At times you get glimpses of it. And if you deal with any of the movies that Christopher Nolan has, you will find this principle played out all throughout. It's different stories, but underneath is the same thing. Whether Bruce Wayne was the false self, or who became Batman, and Batman or Atman, Atman, is the soul's journey from the false self to the self, you know? And so I love to see this type of stuff that is played out. The mind identifying with matter and being confused or disoriented. In true initiations don't happen on the physical world. It happens on the astral plane. All initiations truly happen. You have ceremonial initiations. The world is being initiated in this great labyrinth or lab of life, right? We all got to go through that portal of death, the great silence, to return back to what that is, you know. So when he said the Matrix, this kind of made me think, like, remember, Neo was not there to do anything with Trinity. He was only there to save Zion, but he was going to try to do both. That duality. He said, well, I can save Zion and fall in love. And guess what? Trinity died because that wasn't in the order of things. There's a proper order to things. Purpose first, right? Purpose first. But we spend this time, this delay, we're giving this, there's a delay in getting to that we measure in by our clocks, but it's an eternity of trying to get back to the one. That's just my take on it, guys.
It is purpose that defines us.
And this
I hope.
Pause.
This build is incredible. Man, Esoterika. Well, going down. It's about that time. That was a lovely.
I also want to say for the Podcraft, if y'all don't know, it's a little revealing tonight as we, you know, when I get the chance to read, definitely, I might have to just hit Mitch up personally too if I have, and John would have some questions. But I just wanted to say that, speaking of, you know, the false self, I mean, Priest, we see it here with you and AD. AD is a Sith in the truest sense of the word.
What's a Sith?
I'm going to be addressing that on the next podcast. AD is a Sith. Familiarize yourself with Star Wars, and we'll get to that. Flat Earther Sith.
Yeah. So I accept.
Or it's the truth.
The truth.
If you only knew the power of the flat side.
Right. But the flat side is not the Force. Notice that with the Sith. The Sith doesn't claim the Force. It claims the dark side. The Jedi says, one would think that the Jedi is the light side. They are not. They are only striving to be in one with what? The Force, which is the balance. It is only the Sith who deals with one aspect of it. The Sith deals in absolutes. These are polarities. They're extreme. Like, they say things like, astrology proves everything. And once you settle on that, you are now, every other possibility is now out of the realm, because you think you found it. And that's the workings of a Sith. And there's always two.
Yeah, man.
And so we have AD and Sewell can't be here tonight.
Well, the Siths know both the light and the dark. But
There's nothing that says that.
They deliberately embrace the dark side because they believe it offers greater freedom, power, and the ability to shape reality according to their will.
I like that you said that, AD, but that's not true. That is still in alignment with the left and the right side. What the Sith does is they are a perversion of the truth. Look at the code of a Jedi. Bring that up. And then look at the code of a Sith.
I already did.
The code is all emotions.
Exactly.
It's all emotions.
That's why I don't trust the chat.
No,
there's balance in the universe.
You're talking about when Palpatine used Anakin emotion. So that's him applying the science and using the emotion. Do you know what I mean?
No, that was manipulated. You're speaking about Anakin.
Yeah.
I'm speaking about the why behind the why, which would be go back to see who Palpatine is. And to understand Palpatine, you must go back into his history. You must go back into who his teacher is. Look what he told Anakin. He said that there was a legend. Have you heard the legend or the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? He was like, no. He was like, it doesn't surprise me. A Jedi doesn't know this. And he said, this person could master both sides of the Force, which is Ashlar and Bogon. We can call that black and white magic or left and right. He didn't say he knew one side or the other. He knew both, which was different. What was significant is that he knew both. That's not the norm of a Sith. A Sith usually deals only with the dark side. They may be aware of the light side, but they see no reason for it. What he did was he manipulated Anakin. He told Anakin that, if you could learn this stuff and you would have the power, like Darth Sidious, to save your loved ones from death. He was like, really? He was like, yeah, but you can't learn that from a Jedi. So then Anakin is on the hook, right? Mm-hmm. And as soon as Anakin did what he was told, suggested to do, he let him know, we'll discover this together. It was a lie. See, because even Sidious did not know both sides of the Force. He only knew the light side. The Jedi is not the antithesis of a Sith. They are the one in the middle. They're the balance, which is the most hardest thing to deal with. Yeah. If you got hardware, you got to have software, AD.
Yeah,
right?
now, all joking aside, because I don't claim.
I'm not joking.
All joking aside, because I obviously don't claim to be a Sith anything. But
you say flat earther.
Yeah, that's okay. That's different. Sith. No, so you're applying that. You.
I mean, it's just a word.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you can correlate anything to be good or bad.
I've never seen a flat earther astrologist.
Oh, dude, astrology embraces flat Earth to its highest degree, 100%. But you don't know that yet. We can talk about that on another show.
We're definitely we're going to talk about that on Wednesday night, Woo Wednesday. I want you to come on. We'll talk astrology and flat Earth.
Yeah,
deal.
Yeah, it totally correlates with each other. It doesn't make sense on a ball Earth, on a Baal Earth. You know what I mean? Because they want to keep us.
I love your religion.
They want to hide land.
I never knew you had a religion.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the Bible, so, it's all there, firmament and everything. But the point is, the Sith stuff kind of correlates with Satanism, if you think about it.
What's Satan?
Well, Satan is Saturn, getting more esoteric, but like the whole idea of about being freedom of the mind. If you look at Satanists, they talk about just selflessness and everything about satisfying themselves first. And you understand this too, Mitch. How Satanists think and everything. It's not like an evil thing necessarily. They're just kind of going more inward, and it kind of correlates with the dark side, quote unquote.
You say inward?
What? It correlates with the dark side, the Satanism, and then like Christianity is supposedly going along with like, what would you say, Taoism, as far as the.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, because the Jedi is kind of more towards Taoists. As far as the yin yang,
balance,
right? Exactly, kind of what they're implying with George Lucas, creating the whole universe and everything. So it's interesting how that correlation of light and dark is in there and everything and stuff like that. And that also has the whole yin yang in it, where when everything that's good is a little bit of bad, and what's that's bad is a little bit of good. So we can go into the Star Wars
which
universe
implies what?
all day.
I'm just wondering what that implies to you, because you're right. But you know that that's implied to let you know, AD, of the oneness of everything.
Yeah.
That all is one.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Right. Well, so when one says one aspect of a science, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying you are closing yourself off to the possibilities of everything.
Yeah.
The one is all.
Yeah.
But it's not singularly one thing.
Well, that's the beauty of this artwork right here, because I always see it as the left brain and right brain hemisphere. We look at this image here, and you see both sides of the hemispheres of the brain, technically. The left side and the right side. Mm-hmm. And you want that balance in between. They talk about the third eye, You know, that's the Holy Trinity. That left eye, the right eye, and then the eye in the middle. Do you know what I mean? Some call it the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding. It's the all.
You see that? I see what you're saying. You're saying like you see that skull?
Yeah.
The two skulls? That represents those two hemispheres. But notice that thing in the middle, that third eye, the mind, is nothing but oneness, baby.
Yeah.
It ain't no duality there. It produces duality.
Yes.
The truth of it is that all is one.
Yes. And that is where we need to be. We need to get to that, which isn't, unfortunately, in a Star Wars movie, but the ultimate goal
It actually
is to get to that balanced. I know Yoda, I guess, could be the antithesis of that. You know,
No, it's the philosophy of the Jedi.
Okay.
The Jedi is not the light side of the Force. It's not the dark side of the Force. It is striving for balance. That's the point. Look at the Force as God, not good, not bad, just God. The left hand and the right hand working as one.
Doesn't that also correlate with Christ consciousness?
In what way? There are many different schools of thought. What do you mean by Christ consciousness?
Well, because, you know, Jesus is the teacher, but Christ is the graduation. We're supposed to reach this supposed enlightenment. Now, there's a bunch of interpretations on what that means, but ultimately we're supposed to have this quote unquote Christ consciousness once we elevate our Kundalini, raise our, you know, we got the caduceus technically right there with the both wings, you know, and the medical symbol representing, you know, enlightenment all the way to the top. We open the third eye and then we see, we're all knowing, we're all seeing, you know what I mean?
What does the Kundalini look like?
The serpent. Going up
going
up the spinal
cord. I think you to
cord.
be more of a science man. I have never seen science being able to show and prove of a Kundalini.
Okay, now if you're going into science,
they've opened up the human body. I've taken anatomy and physiology 1, 2, 3, and 4. They've never seen the Kundalini.
Yeah, it's the medical symbol.
Is it? That's a caduce, right?
The caduceus, right?
Just like you can have, there's a symbol for an atom. What does an atom look like?
The atom's like an electron.
You into something. You're only metaphorically looking at something that you, just to give you an idea of it, doesn't mean that's what it is.
Right. I mean, they create an atom in school.
You've never seen a Kundalini, right?
We haven't seen it. We just know of it from you know, the metaphysical stuff, metaphysical esoteric.
A believer. I like you.
Oh, thank you.
Mitch, Wednesday.
Mitch is like,
pay attention to that owl on the top.
I'm like, now I know AD.
Right.
That's the wisdom.
Well, that's what AD does.
I mean, the owl represents everything. The owl represents the wisdom, obviously, and
the owl is the one.
Yeah.
AD gets himself in these.
It ain't two owls.
Right.
Notice it's one owl.
One owl, yeah. And obviously owls are able to see in the spirit world, supposedly, just as cats do. Cats are like, you know, owls in like panther forms or whatever.
Like John Newsom said, he said owls see in the dark. Do you know what that also implies, AD? Things appear to be a certain way, even what you visually can see, but is it really that? It's none that are so blind as those who have eyes and still will not see. So what you think you see or observe may not actually be what it is. So what the owl actually represents is to see beyond what the physical appearances is. It's like what fire is.
Yeah.
When fire touches a physical object, it breaks it down to its lowest compound, to its elements of what it really is.
Yeah.
Right? So it is that owl represents why it's such a sacred thing in Esoterika, is because it is able to, the dark eludes you. And when I say dark, I don't mean the absence of light of what we call nighttime. I mean that triple stage of dark. And so what Manly P. Hall called the eternal robes of heavenly darkness. That's the real darkness which all things come from. Not what we can bear witness with our eyes. That's just an absence of light. But what it truly is. I invite you over to Woo Wednesday so we can talk about astrology and the flat earthers.
You just want to talk about flat earth.
Man,
that's cool.
Bro.
Great stuff, man. Love it. Great cover, and I love the Esoterika. It's like America, but you're going into the Esoterika. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Bring it back home.
Something about owls I wanted to add. This is how the historical and the esoteric marry. I was talking before about the Hellenic myth of Prometheus stealing fire from the gods and enlightening humanity physically and metaphysically. And we see the owl as a symbol of that, as a being that can see in the dark, historically a being associated with wisdom, the familiar to Minerva, the goddess of wisdom, and also a predator, but predator can be a protector as well. Very recently, there's been an archaeological finding. I read about this recently in a newspaper called Haaretz, which is Hebrew for daily bread. There's been an archaeological finding in South Africa extending back, it's hard to even say these words because the scale is so vast, 1.8 million years. Archaeologists have found a cave in South Africa dated back to about 1.8 million years, where our hominid ancestors, our most ancient of ancestors, used fire. And these were thought to be some of the first beings on Earth that used fire. And what they used to burn, listen to this, was owl pellets, which are combustible like wood. And that was a manner in which physically and metaphysically, the owl, the symbol of wisdom, brought fire to humanity. And this is a very recent discovery.
Crazy, man. That's dope. I know they had owl in Samaria and Kemet.
Yeah.
On the wall, man. That's dope. Yeah, man. This has been one great build. You know, AD gets into these things all the time. he's really straight. But you know, it's got to be elusive. Got to be like he left. He'll be back. So you got to be like you have to be like Bruce Lee said, be like water, my friend. You know. But Mitch, your book is crazy. It's dope. Your best work so far. And yeah, man, we
can't wait to read it.
Yeah.
Mitch, I will be getting with you one way or another. If we're not get to the show yet, I definitely will. I'm going to try to read it in a few days and be done. Get my questions.
I'm here for them, person to person, or here on the Podcraft, or both.
Indeed.
Totally here for it. Yeah.
I had one other question, John Newsom.
Yes.
When you were highlighting the draft, you said you went through first and you marked, and then you went back through with a red marker.
A red pen.
A red pen. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah. Usually when I'm reading texts like Esoterika, I read with a highlighter, and then I reread what I highlighted and highlight, but with the red pen. So it's almost like kind of honing in on a second round of observations.
Interesting. Yeah, I caught that. What an artist. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? May I ask Mitch a question? I'd like to ask Mitch a question. Killah Priest read the text on the cover of Esoterika, and he also read David Lynch's quote, where Mitch is solid gold. And after listening to the extended Star Wars observations, it kind of took me back to the idea of some of David Lynch's creativity and his thoughts and perspectives on creativity. And I was just wondering if, Mitch, could you just share with the audience in the Podcraft your relationship with David Lynch and his creativity and process?
Yeah, thank you. I miss his presence, as so many people do. I remember once upon a time, David told me that Eraserhead was his most spiritual film, and that nobody believes him when he says that, but that it's absolutely true, and that there was one verse in scripture that locked open the whole movie for him and made him understand what he was doing. And he said he would never tell anybody what that verse was, but it was there. And the thing that I gleaned from Eraserhead, and if I had said this to David, he would never have confirmed or denied it, it's just my point of view, I think that is a Gnostic movie. I really believe that is a Gnostic movie. And that the men and women in this movie who seem to be living in some sort of post-apocalypse landscape, it's very depressing, are us. And they're living under this kind of false or ersatz God or archon. And there's a scene in the movie, it occurs a couple of times, where stuff is playing out in this dreary, muddy, wet, gray setting that the characters live in. And we see this character, he seems to be elevated somewhere above the humans in the film. And he is this unhealthy looking, sclerotic, diseased looking character. And he's pulling levers on this creaky machinery. And I thought, that's the archon. That's the false deity that Gnosticism told us that we're living under. And David could just do things like that. And I knew him through transcendental meditation, which is one of my personal commitments. And I first met him through Bobby Roth, who is the director of the David Lynch Foundation, which teaches transcendental meditation to veterans and first responders and people who maybe are facing some sort of crisis, like suffering PTSD. If anybody wants to learn transcendental meditation, which is a commitment of mine, which is a commitment of David's, just look up David Lynch Foundation. And he left that as a legacy so that people would have easier time learning TM. And that's just the memories of David Lynch.
Thank you. Interesting.
Got a super chat.
Got a super chat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hold on. I had to go do laundry real quick. Fella B
Yeah, I'm
says,
familiar with David Lynch and his work for one of the documentary schools that I'm going to. It's a requirement for you to take transcendental meditation.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been good in my life.
Whole lot.
My bad, AD.
you good? Well, great. That's awesome. So we're going to put the links into the description for where they can get that book. Do you suggest Amazon or should they go to their website?
Oh, anywhere, if you want to support that struggling little startup, Amazon, that's fine with me. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it in print, digital, audio. I narrate the audio edition, or just anywhere you buy books. But Amazon, they have the thing, so that's fine with me.
I just want to make sure you're getting the maximum profits. So wherever what distribution is the best?
That's a long road, but Amazon is a good place.
Amazon works? Okay, cool.
They've got plenty of them. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't want them to send them back to my publisher. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We'll put the link there also with your website and then along with the website for John Newsom.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, AD.
Absolutely.
And also, thank you, Mitch, for the connection to Kelly at the Philosophical Research Society on behalf of Priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's gonna be a marriage that's gonna produce terrific things.
Yeah,
that's big.
We didn't even touch on that, man. That's I want to thank you both for that, man. That's a incredible thing right there. I can't wait.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy day. Word.
I'm looking forward to hearing your impressions and Hakem's impressions of Philosophical Research Society.
Yeah.
When you physically enter that place, that's going to be an experience in itself.
Right, no doubt, man. I can't wait. We'll be sitting there. I'll be there, man. I'm trying to think of what tea would fit that environment. It has to be something that expand our mind, like a tea that only emperors.
Henny tea.
Huh?
Tequila.
T Killer. Right? That'd be a T right there. T Killer. Yeah, man. Yeah. That'd be a strong T.
It's Killah Priest.
That'd be something, man. Oh, man.
I'll
Same
research
thing, though.
Priest. See.
Yeah.
I'll see. I think I have some few things that Manly would have appreciated.
Now, that's dope. That's dope. See, that's a great idea. Something that Manly would like. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope. Word. Yeah, all right. So, I mean, let's move on to the break. We'll take a break for a minute, and then we're going to come back. Mitch Horowitz, everyone. Horowitz. Mitch Horowitz. This is the book. Covers done by the great John Newsom. We'll be all together at Manly P. Hall. Joint. Y'all coming too, right? Hakim and Knowledge Born? We'll get there.
If it's the August one, I don't know. I think I'm going to be in El Paso, but I'm going to try to.
El Paso,
I have to see.
El Paso.
But I am going to make it before November. We got to, I think we'll be finished with the another project, and we can maybe try to shoot a video there, maybe.
Oh, man, definitely El Paso.
Yeah.
All meet down there and shoot some stuff. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So this is on all platforms. Well, he dropped it already. I'll keep it like how you want it. So check out the book, man. It's very deep for you who looking to expand your mind, take it a little bit further. This is it. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, expand your mind, man.
I think me and Knowledge Born will go over it a little bit on
the Patreon.
Wednesdays too.
Yeah,
the
okay.
Patreon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
We gotta get back to the Patreon. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
I've been working on my rap book. I just been in the stoop, but we're gonna get it done. We back full effect. Manly
Priest Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Manly Priest Hall.
Manly Priest Hall, exactly.
Manly Priest Hall coming soon.
Yes, indeed, man. Yeah. We're gonna let you.
Hit single, Esoterika.
Yes. We don't know if Mitch is gonna be here that long, so we're gonna do you welcome to leave whenever you want, but we're just gonna leave the door open for you. You can stay if you want. If you like, but we're going to take it to break right now. We're going to go into a break. We're going to come back with song promotion.
Okay. I got to run, but thank you.
All right, man. Thank you for coming. John Newsom.
Yes, thank you, Priest. Thank you. AD.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
John,
thank you.
AD.
Peace.
Thank you, Mitch.
Knowledge. Thank you. Thank y'all very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Esoterika.
Speak soon.
Erica. Who's the treasurer? On my way to Nebula.
Fuck nickels and dimes, 7.5 ounces rockin' shines. The bond turn the water to wine. G.O.D. be the mind, connect for old time. Gibberine rhyme, guillotine, Egyptian king. Man, you see my face on the scene. Plus the last tape I dropped got you open like a crack fiend. Don't even worry, I big shit, update shit. Soon I have more cash than Ricky Lake click. The great prophet, I'm all wise, you can't stop it. Electrifying like a socket. Niggas talk shit with low pockets. Brand to a mystery god, that shit is garbage. I write rhymes, fully advanced with flavor tropics. Fuck that, dick in your mouth, be the topic. Closed in, feeling the vibe, you can't win. Emphatically, my friend. Live niggas get props, others pretend. Getting drunk off of juice and gin, then they sin. This message goes to original men. On the streets doing jokes, lifetime in the pen. Mighty wanna sin, cut snake niggas with evil grins. It's the God. The God. It's the gods. Keep your eyes open. Guillotine raps is potent. Swiftly, jet ski rhymes across the ocean. You eaglins don't know the half. Do the math, how y'all cool grab. Moose and slay the snakes up the stab. Taught them how to act. Build homes and win the fast. Tell lies, mastering original gods. Godfellow Enterprise. 7 wise guys, stay live. 120 lessons, so strive for perfection. Gibbering mark the whole section. On for war, hold me down with protection. I'm back catching. Strike one, these niggas still guessing. Up in the black crescent, infrared the Smith & Wesson. Inside is a damn law. Men behind bars against society for the cause. Ain't be jealousy, less than hate, says it all. Original man or the legend never fall. It's the God. Like a video game, cock your name at these niggas who ain't one and the same. Claiming blocks, you ain't got props. Born Bill taking your spot, picking your lot, scoped out your whole operation. You niggas ain't shit to me, you just faking. Screaming out my name real loud to get the bacon. Fuck that, it's comeback original rap. Godfellow format, blow up the whole track. Remember me? G.O.D. locked, I rock priceless. Shoot dices, sword fights with Jesus Christ. I'm out now, doing my thing, rocking the ISIS. Godfellas, swing swords with major slices. You don't know the half of my team. Gibbering, guillotine, militant assassins. Coming soon, stay tuned. We about to start the revelation. 9-8 shit, front page radio station. It's the God. It's the God. Letters A-Z, I know I'm saying. G-O-D-F-E, double letters A-Z.
God elevated. This is God divine, I'm built on God elevated. Not God elevated. This is God fellas. Allah zigzag zig. Not God cipher divine, Father E. Double letters, Allah. God, cipher divine, Father E. Double letters, Allah, zigzag zig. Allah zigzag zig is the opposite of question, God. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a unit, God. That's why the Allah zigzag zig is on the end of that. You see what I'm saying? It's not God, cipher divine, Father E. Double letters, Allah. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's a group. You see what I'm saying? So when you say that, you know what I'm saying, that you are a God, cipher divine, Father, either double letters, Allah, then that means you do know, you know what I'm saying, that you gotta deal in equality because you got equality brothers you gotta deal with.
Elohim Apocalypse, Everlasting Productions, Godfellas, Gibbering Assassin, and all of that, y'all. Head of the class, more money, Chris in the glass. Life is a blast, but we still fighting for cash. Game fun and laughs, got us gassed in life. We got dykes, fags, and hermaphrodites. In the afterlife, firefight alongside Christ. In the club, see me for the microphone fights. Get it on, straight pop the dawn. And meet me in the lobby of the females' dorm. Bring the trom, you know the shit's the bomb. And no competition, straight gets the gong. 7 kings, which means 7 blades to swing. A 14, double the blade is gibbering. Assassins, lights go out and planes crashing. Mountain and hills, avalanching, earthquake. I have no set birthday, but I'm here to set you fucking jerk straight to church shake. Moving under your feet, you better retreat. Catch you at the end of the beat, blasting the peeps. Apocalypse holding y'all's hostages, holding the tech with the extra cartridges.
Mike Steps.
Steps ahead.
Yeah.
Mike Epps. Ooh.
Mike Epps with mic checks.
Yeah.
Word.
I'll take this off.
Hang on, y'all.
Just got my hair braided, man. Can't.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always making adjustments with the Zoom.
Somebody said balance.
Balance.
Balance. Bell. I saw another L. Couple of L's.
Elohim.
Yeah, L was in a couple of words. Temple. Yeah, that's right. Temple.
Temp L.
Yeah.
Gabrielle.
Yeah.
Samuel.
Yeah. Jackson. Yeah. Temple.
Google L.
Yeah. Who else?
Google L.
Google. Yep. Yeah.
Google L, the Most High. You know, that's where everybody get their answers.
Google.
Oh, yeah.
Google L.
Yeah. Yahoo. Yeah. Man, we can go in, bro. It's a lot of L's. It's a lot of
Hell yeah.
no L. Word.
Okay.
So this.
Is
Let's
you
go,
ready?
Brother Glow. But I'm Ceaseless 111, man.
Y'all ready for song promotions?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Get up out of here.
Yeah, we got five song promotions.
Okay, that's great.
Here we go.
Paul Ants. Ooh, Paul Ants. I like that. Aurora Borealis.
Show for Killah Priest and the world to hear.
The owl fits. I like that. The owl.
Alchemical.
Yeah, alchemical. Yep.
All right, let's go. Today's first submissions. 1 second.
Free up storage.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Our first submission is by an artist named Clive Craven. And the song is Welcome to Jonestown, produced by Clive Craven, mixed and mastered by Clive Craven. Album Death Comes in the Day, released by Gold Minded Records. All right, let's go. Here we go. Bringing it on screen, this full music video. So we're doing a full video. Here we go. Hold up, take it from the top.
That's me right there. I heard that. You heard that, man.
More difficult. Raise it up every morning and
Take it from the top. I had it muted. Here we go. I was muted for them.
Gold-minded records. They're not your friends.
the world, the kingdom suffers violence, and the violence shall take it by force. If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace. Living, you're looking at death. It only looks at living is much, much more difficult. Raising up every morning and not knowing what's going to be the night's bringing. It's much more difficult.
Welcome to Jonestown, my name is Jimmy. I got many enemies that are trying to get me. Trying to define history with a great new pupil the Lord has given me. Pledge the loyalty under the tree of hickory. The master of masking misery, and listen to me. You could live in a paradise, we'll spare your life. We only need help to prepare for the night. A ritual to plunge from plight. This is Guyana, there's not a none in sight. Stay out the water cause the piranhas bite. With the Brahmas might, anaconda tight. But we provide a life you couldn't dream about. This is Shangri-La and the outsiders, we keep them out. Ignore the cries of their grieving spouse. We get rid of the weak and weed them out. You see me at work, I'm a mastermind. Following teachings of the Father Divine.
You see it's simple, they say you see something in you. So welcome to Jonestown, you're part the family now. Drink the Kool-Aid and make the vow in the people's temple. You see it's simple, they say you see something in you. So welcome to Jonestown, you're part the family now. Drink the Kool-Aid and make the vow.
I established a stronghold in Cali, temples in LA to the valley, where we lay in the mission. Started the planning commission, lieutenants under my direction, the most loyal my selection. At the faith healing revival, tongue lashing my rivals, attacking anyone bashing the Bible. Pushed out the states cause people were lied to, so went to Guyana and built a commune. There was 600 of us and not a lot of room, with 400 more joining soon. Revolutionary suicide or avoiding doom. I'll leave it on you to
choose. I prefer you don't speak unless spoken to, or you'll get an open wound. Go against me, it's your life consumed. I live in the shadows where my vices ensue. Got me changing like a lichen in the moon.
So welcome to Jonestown. You're part the family now. Drink the Kool-Aid and make the vow in the people's temple. You see, it's simple. They say you see something in you. So welcome to Jonestown. You're part the family now. Drink the Kool-Aid and make the vow.
Please, for God's sake, let's get on with it. We've lived as no other people have lived and loved. We've had as much of this world as you're going to get. Let's just be done with it. Let's be done with the agony of it. To have to watch you every day die slowly. And from the time you're a child to the time you get gray, you're dying. I want to go. I want to see you go, though. They can take me and do with me whatever they want to do. I want to see you go. I don't want to see you go through this hell no more. No more, no more, no more. No more.
Yo, what you think about that?
It's no realer. Perfect way to set off the Podcraft, man.
Man.
The music portion, the song promotion, perfect way to set it off. He's not playing no games. That's all. It's straight real. Lyrics is dope. Very militant. That's that. Come on, taking it back. You know, that's Public Enemy type vibe. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the way he came on that track was incredible, yo.
Yeah,
it was dope.
That was legit.
It was hard.
That was ill. The chat room was going lit too.
That was hard. Beat
That's what's
dope,
up.
Lyrics dope, subject matter dope, everything. That's a 10.
How'd you like that knowledge?
Live Craven is dope, man. Gold Minded Records gave us the Jim Jones, Heaven's Gate, drinking of the Kool-Aid. You understand what I'm saying? And the adaptation to right now, right? That Jonestown, welcome to Jonestown, right? So these things look fair seeming to you. You know, so even with the aspect, like you want to be a star, you want to be famous, it looks fair seeming to you. And then you get in, you start drinking the Kool-Aid, next thing you know, you sticking you up out of here. You know, so they take your talent, they take your intellectual property, they own your masters, and they hand you some Kool-Aid to drink and the cyanide in it. You understand what I'm saying? So now you're looking for your reward in heaven. It's Heaven's Gate. You caught up. So yeah, I think that was a good, you know, alliteration in regards to what it is. Because, you know, he was out there shaking hands and, you know, befriending people, but handing them the Kool-Aid with the cyanide in it at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So I think that was dope. Kind of looking at the industry, kind of looking at, you know, life, you know, somebody coming up in that kind of way. They don't always come with force every time, right? Mitch was just talking about force versus power, right? So that dynamic. You don't have to force anything if you have that power, right?
Yeah.
So,
shout out to Clive Craven.
I think he was on. Was he on before?
Oh yeah,
I think he was one of
it seemed like we saw that one.
I know he
not that
submitted
one.
before, but I'm wondering if he was on with one of the rappers or something like that. But I'll reach out.
Chat room said they're craving more.
That's dope. Everybody got metaphor verses.
Oh yeah,
that's how they doing in Maryland.
Hey, you know they Killah Priest fans, so
man, we craving more.
Yeah,
wow, that's dope.
Death Comes in a Day. Dope submission. Very dope.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, shout out to them once again. Death Comes in the Day. That's an album coming out. And we're going to have the links to the artists, obviously, after the show. Let's go. Coming up next now, we've got an artist named Otter Seaweed Shaman with a song called Hogwarts Funk. All right, let's check it out.
The Otter Seaweed Shaman presents Hogwarts Funk. Hogwarts Funk. Casting spells of funk. Funk magic. Funk magic. Funk magic. Casting spells of funk.
Wow. What'd you think about that, Priest?
Man, you already know. I need some otter puns. That was dope, man. Very clean, very dope. Very funky. International funk off. Hogwarts. Yeah, man.
Funk, yeah.
Yeah. I might get out to Ottawa. I wonder if you ever been to Ottawa. Ottawa.
I ought to check it out.
Go ahead.
That was dope. Hogwarts funk. He's got a good style going on with the theme and everything. He's kind of creating very kid-friendly, G-rated stuff. And you know that's very profitable. When you go general audience, you know, you're opening yourself to a lot of checks because your music can be played almost everywhere. So that's cool.
Super clean.
Yeah. Super clean is cool. So he's setting himself up. I know he's building a library. Shout out to him. What'd you think about that, KB?
It was Art of This World.
Yeah.
Art of This World.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That the funk is always there.
Mhm.
Okay, the funk, uptown funk you up kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's high, it's light, and like you were saying, AD, that was a good assessment. The versatility of the sound, and when it's clean, you can play it anywhere.
True.
Yeah, everybody wants clean music up all age ranges and places. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we
I
got
think it's pretty dope.
another submission from the same Otter, and this one's called Otter Seaweed Shaman presents River Rock Rebellion, River One Spirit. Okay, let's check it out. This is a full audio track. Here we go.
Out of sight. Out of mind. No, out of sight, out of mind. Otter said, I want to rock right now.
Okay.
Right in their belly. Yo, man, Otter, man, you got the flute. That's the river dance. Like on a river rock, it sound like the river. Sound like rivers with rocks, pebbles, lakes, springs. Dope, man.
Yeah.
Keep it coming.
Well put together. I also like the breakdown into the chorus that happened in there, the chord structure. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know how he's doing all this, man. But musically, it's legit. What do you think, KB?
Sound like an Otter jam session on the Ohio River.
Yep.
Yeah, that switch up was crazy. I was like, all right. It had the little smooth kind of electric guitar. Then it just went into a whole big fiddle hold down in the middle of it. It was crazy. Please, I heard you switching your flow up on the song, Jake. I heard you, Lord.
Man.
Fox Chase?
I snuck up in there.
Yeah, it did sound like Fox Chase.
A little bit of Fox Chase action happening.
Yeah.
Butterfly.
Yeah. Robert Johnson.
Brilliant. Shout out once again to none other than Otter, Seaweed Shaman from the Otter Realms, rocking it with his productions. Great stuff, man. Keep it going. Next up, we've got an artist, it's Somebody Save Me, featuring Moonchild, produced by Jama Woon from the album Synthetic City, DBL Records. Y'all ready for this? Let's go. Here we go.
A different history, a corrected history, the one that was supposed to happen. Reconstruction completed. Black land ownership by 1880. Frederick Douglass elected 1880. Inaugurated March 4, 1881. The 20th president.
Somebody save me. Somebody save.
Mad scientists with a mic, bring the fire day and night. Whack lyricists, be Icarus types. Moss to the light, amazing scribe who bust the rough rhymes. Whack cats fall back like fate in hairlines. It's their time, they rhymes plastic, returning to fantastic. Drastic with the flow, automatic, pen classics. Every line sounds omatic. Vivid diction, sporadic, make your chick stretch. Sample, yoga, and elastic. We the illest kind, epitomized with stoke. In this time, the bar was so low, I'd rather what you wrote was a suicide note. Probably get shot next week anyway. With them whack raps and weak beats, I heat seek. Only compete with the real rappers. Pop more pills than they rock skills. Lyrically, as MCs, y'all come up short consistently like ED. Limp dick rhymers who can't bust right. That's why I crush mics with poems. Spit entire omens off the top of the dome. Every word's a weapon, wordplay threatening as a Louis C.K. erection over the phone. Obviously they compose prose sloppily, tossing these atrocities like Prince Mac. Watch me tall talk philosophically. I treat his walls to a juggernaut. You can't stop me. Pop while I rock joints and get straight to the point. That's hibachi.
That was dope.
Shoddy, think quicker than you blink. A bad boy who murders but ain't no Diddy or Irv Gotti. Thoughts like a Vulcan logically. Blade churner, flame burner. Every set of text a page turner. On tracks, take it back, straight crack. Like dope dealers in the 90s with pages and burners. Leave the comp heated. Your plugs don't need it. Your live show us niggas in they tight dad shorts. I don't wanna see it. Ignite what I'm bringing. Cock back and keep blasting. War tactics collapsing. The whackness couldn't conceive what might happen. On tracks I come hard and snap. Broken prophylactics. Hardcore. Lynch slave rappers with their mic cords. Balls crazy. Check myself into the psych ward. True story. Can't conceal the real me. I knew the truth too early. Been blazing stages since my hair was curly. With the Rican fro. Before Leviathan in a slick Vic low. Little dude who used to kick a flow. Knowledge was my ammo. 8 years old with the glow. Trying to spit for clout and hopefully stick out like a camel toe.
three of them jumped through the hoop, so to speak, and disappeared into the past, or possibly the future. It was an amazing moment.
Dope.
Nice.
Lyrics, flow, everything else. Like the girl with the hook, she threw him the uppercut. I mean, threw him the what you throw the ball and then just knocked it out the park. That was dope. Slick Vic.
Yeah, that was dope. You got fires in the chat. You already know that's legit. Man, everything was dope. The mix, the lyrics, all that. Fire. KB, what do you think?
We just had them on. Slick Vic and Prince Mac. Father and soon to be son-in-law. You understand what I'm saying? I think that was either his daughter or that was
That's dope.
Might have been Life, but I'm sure that was Moonchild, his daughter. They are creative. I love that. And in real life, Slick Vic is an educator. So that's his profession. So who better to take the children on a ride? I don't know if y'all remember the Magic School Bus or not, but he did that, jumping timelines and time zones, taking, the children back in time to realize their potential in the 1990 now. So I think it was dope that he took it back to Abraham Lincoln and replaced him with Frederick Douglass, seeing it in the minds of the youth that they can, strive for whatever goals that they put their mind to. So to see them kind of take off with it, like take what he's giving them, and you see the young boy, he took off running, and then he even made reference to his younger self. Knowledge was his ammo. You know what I'm saying? Like knowledge was his ammo. That was what propelled him forward. So it even looked like a discussion between his present self and his younger self at the same time, but also giving it to the next generation. I think it was real dope. So hip hop's not dead; it's still in Baltimore.
Damn. Well, we actually got another submission.
Marinate.
From them
Jammer
as well.
One. Shout out to Jammer One.
Shut up.
Dope producer. Jamming on the one.
Okay. This right here, Lyrical Leviathan Retro Future, produced by Jammer One, from the album Synthetic City, DBL Records. Let's go.
Check this kid out, and let's see if we should add the act to the show. Nah.
Who wouldn't want to see the future? Yeah! I've always wanted to topple an oppressive regime!
And I've always wanted to become friends with a robot made from real wood.
From the pitch of the stalling cosmos, I have arrived.
Hey, smoke crack, don't you? Rappers exist behind the rock. Black musicians in the 50s, Steph Curry, Jesus on Resurrection Day. Drug influenced hip hop, pills and drip drop. But anyway, not impressed. It ain't your drip, leave him dead in a few secs. I was a space cadet. Earth dwellers can't perform yet. Gundam war vets, leave torn sets. Whack wordsmith versus vex. Shitty spit, it's best to swallow your work. Oral sex, melanated bomb threats. Original man concepts, intelligent attacks. Fuck the fake crap, more advanced than Drake AI tracks. The future all black, musical origins intact. Pop, country, rock, jazz, disco, electro, rap, etc. We created all that. History's editors get slapped. From streaming all the way back to discos on a dat. We evolve and expand, Leviathan. I've been ill since real to real and singing into the can. Hip hop is who I am.
From the pitch of the stalling cosmos, I have arrived. Missing
The ancient ancestor who came back, retro, future, rhyme, travel, all culture is black. Crackers are not talented, historically don't compare. And this year we don't punch lines, every bar's nuclear warfare. Lyrical super saiyan, pin verses amazing, yet rocks move off the top. Damon Wayans in living color portraying feats of the ancient. It's giving deep wisdom, information engraved on stone pages, pagan visions. DNA filled with hidden scriptures, mitochondria lyricism. Got more stuffed in my jeans than thick women. Pandemic, vocals stacked on virals, tracks, spit sick to the rhythm. Word spells written in braille, spoken well, while they raps collapse like tapped eggshells. Freedom ain't free, maybe that's why we align bars like Dell DNA for pay, so white men can sell cells and cells to the highest bidder, but can't imprison the loudest spitter, inventor of the prism, living, giving life from the depths of triple darkness, universal breath imparted, bless mics and get it started, just to teach the last sprinkle in time, sprinkle some lines, intertwine with the divine, a Bible of rival bars, you can't wrestle with Leviathan unless you God.
I have a rhyme.
Once the tape runs out, I'll shut down, and there'll be nobody left to stop the evil powers that be. That's why I gotta find more of these cassettes, or else the future is doomed.
And what you think, Priest?
Dope. Yeah, it's dope. I think lyrically, Homeboy just crazy. The beat, everything was dope, but he just went crazy on that. Lyrically, man, it was like, shh. I gotta hear that with fresh ears, man. For real, that was dope. Man, what's his name? Swift.
Lyrical Leviathan.
Yeah, he's nice. Dope.
Yeah. Retro Future, Jammer One on the beat. I like the vertical video because that's putting yourself in the position for going viral on TikTok and all that and Instagram Reels and stuff like that. So you smart for that type of format. Musically, it's totally cool, and I like the turntablism. Thank you for keeping that alive because the scratches are key. You know, especially if you're gonna put out a good boom bap, it's proper to have the turntablism, a little bit of scratching going on, because it's an important element that should be timeless. What you think, KB? KB, are you there?
Lick Vic, aka Lyrical Leviathan, with the Marty McSide over here. More Marty slick vibe. I love it. The retro future, and then the space of going back to the future. And sometimes you put out music, Priest, you put out music that's ahead of its time. You got like a 25-year head start. You know what I mean? You look at it like an artist like Cannabis, it's like a 25-year head start. They like, y'all are like ahead of their time. The people have to catch up to it. So the beauty of it is that he put out the retro future, sort of like, Wayne Chandler with the ancient future type of situation. You see what I'm saying? So the ability to understand what the ancients did. And I love the little excerpt that he put in with the mainstream. They're like, should we play this? Nah. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's not for them. But the people that it's for will find it. And, he depicted them like aliens. So they might as well be the misfits, the ones that don't fit. Miss means not fit. They don't fit the conformity. You understand what I'm saying? So he's making music that's attracting those like himself who don't fit into the conventional boxes. You understand what I'm saying? So he goes, conceptually back to the future, right?
Back to the future.
See the lady on the side, you see the dog in the back, right? If y'all remember Back to the Future, they sent the dog first in the DeLorean.
Einstein.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so there you go, right? So that, ability to see it, and then like today, if it didn't happen on the internet, it didn't happen. If we didn't have it on tape, it didn't happen back then, right?
Exactly.
So now it went from stop the tape to this time, don't stop the tape. Stop the tape.
Yup.
Yeah. So definitely a dope thing that gives you a vintage sound that's relevant now, that you could understand and feel now, and also even miss now because they don't make music like this anymore. And music is going through its own retrofitting as well. So people are returning to older sounds now because that was the time when music felt like music. It doesn't feel like music now.
Yeah. And shout out to Slick Vic Low in the super chat. He says, shout out Chuck the Mad Ox on the scratches.
Chuck
name too,
the
Slick
Mad
Vic.
Ox. Yeah.
Slick Vic.
Yeah. All right, it's time for our last submission. It's none other than Lil Da Vinci with a song called From
Da
Then
Vinci
Till
Code.
Now.
Yeah. Then he comes with From Then Till Now.
From Then to Now, from the album From Then to Now, release date June 19th. So it's out. Oh.
Da Vinci, hit me up. Need you on a Wednesday.
Hold up, it stopped.
Yo, as a seed, I've been a beast with heat. In the past, having fun, make runs would never last. Super thorough by the way of the hand, a younger teen. Laser beams from the dome, roaming your streets. I repeat, got respect with the heat, beating the weak. Any beat, making colorful streets, teaching the mass. See my peak far away in the clouds, you hear the sound. Down the ground, make the heaviest storm, born as a great. As the king, bring the chain with some pain, making a lane. From the brain head, chain of command, the way I stand. Got the mass shook, cooking with spell, dwelling in peace. From the far east, stand as a guard, golden arms. Peace to the gods and earths. Lil Da Vinci. I'm out of here. One.
What do you think, Priest?
Man, I like this unorthodox of when he stops. I mean, it could be mid-bar. It could be any time. Once he get his point across, it's just like, yo, the door open, he just walk out the door. So he leaves you wanting more. That's a big deal with that. That's like something that he always do, and that's like it just leaves, man. It's just like one verse. That's it.
Boom.
Say what I had to say.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm out of here. No peace to the gods this time, but he just was out the window. Yo, that was dope.
I love the delay effects. He always has the echo effects he puts on.
Yo.
That's dope because it has me tripping out every time I hear it. I'm like, did I smoke today?
Yeah. Yo. Peace to the gods.
That's our last submission. KB, what do you think?
Shout out to the Da Vinci Code. Okay.
Yes.
His name is the Da Vinci Code. He can't be Lil Da Vinci and somebody's daddy at the same time. I told him when he gave birth to his son, he had to drop the little. Ain't nothing little about him. You understand what I'm saying? Other than how he just cliffhanger us off the track. You understand what I'm saying? Just kick us right off the track. You'd be like, yeah, 8 bars, I'm out.
Right. Yeah. You get 8, you might get 7, you might get 16.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you might get 17 and a half. And be like, all right, peace to the gods. I'm out.
Right. Dope.
I love it. Perfect way to end a magical, mystical excursion of the mind from the exoteric to the esoteric.
Yep.
On the Podcraft tonight.
Yeah.
That concludes. If y'all want to submit for the next show, which is on Thursday, you can do it now. Until then, at any time, you know what I'm saying?
Then to now.
That's it.
From then to now. All right, y'all. Yeah, man. We're gonna get out of here, man. Go good looking for Mitch Horowitz. Also, John Newsom, the great knowledge born and Hakim Allah came through, blessed the Podcraft one-on-one. We just gonna get up out of here. Can we get the rain? All up. Nah, you got that set up.
We did that last time.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I see the rain.
Yeah, I see the rain.
We're gonna end with another Godfellas.
All right, let's do it. All over me.
Yeah, we coming out with a unique style. Everybody's style is unique. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's style is different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shot for the blast, represent Godfellas. Yo, shit, what's up, yo? Let me get your sense of hearing, yo. That's all I want. Yeah, yo. Fuck all the bullshit. Shot blast. Fuck all y'all niggas with loose lips, too. Recognize this shit. Everything in the universe. Everything. Represent that. Godfellas in that. All that. Word up. Splash that. Anything, yo. Niggas can't stop this, yo. Real. Check that. Yo. You know my strength? Shot bucket building. Bucket blast, yo. Check that. Check my team. Godfellas. Here we go. We're ready for the team. Go. 7 swords. Yeah. Roll the Dutch up. Listen, son, niggas is loose. I'm ready to start snatching the thoughts out. Murder one dude, the fatal, I felt it. It still ain't take out the guard. Sometimes don't last, but sometimes do. My knuckles scar, lightning speed temper. Kept the guard behind bars, I drink and see stars. Hard cars become street cars. Now I'm studying this guy that held down from way back. He got his weight up, little soldiers now, he think it can't happen. But if you remember, there was me that slashed nigga. Now niggas ain't fearing him. Yo, left there in his peak. So when you learn shit from thoroughbreds, make sure to get back. Show respect. Now wait to break some neck. These dead presents don't really mean shit, it's just what I forget. And I'ma get mad more burners, mad more clips. That's how I'm living, so from here to 2G, I'm blacking out. Catch you on the drop, son. Truck and blow your neck out. It's disgusting. Hold that taste down. Hit you up with 50 rounds. The border won't be found. Took them down to right uptown. I'm laying on the fire escape, watching your mom pray for answers to her questions. She about to get the message. Don't fuck with shot blast. Son, she had a flashback on my life. She always thought my life was sick, but didn't know the half of it. Yo, my whole record, catch it. Yeah, the fine roll to spin the record. I was in the crime way before your asshole. Do the knowledge, or you will never get past go. The streets don't give a fuck about you, so all you got is yourself. Don't look at me, son, you did it yourself. Drop that, blast that, all the time. Blast that, yeah, you know it's me. I boogie, represent my whole community. What? Dark side, I got you in the sleeper whole style. Sleeper whole, yo. Put them out, son. Sign it out. The peace. Let us go. Freeze off. Peace out with that bullshit. Yo, God flashes up on your liquids and gases. That's how it sounds, son. Look at the masses. They homemade, but the mouth ain't cut out. You can't see the grill. That's how we going all out. What? BX style. Knowledge the born, yo. The balance between life, negative, positive counterparts. Glow in the dark, shot boogie, build the arc. Peace.